So, Berto, I'm having an Oscar party at my house, and you're invited, by the way.
Woo!
And we all dress up. We do a red carpet. We take pictures, and we vote on who's going to win the different Oscars, and whoever gets the most right. I also weight the questions. So like best picture, I think you get like 10 points, and other, best cinematography is worth like 2 points or something. The biggies get them, but it's weighted.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want someone to win without. Anyway, the point is that I have a party, and we're going to do that. This is I think the fourth year I've done it. Last year, you actually won the big prize.
I did.
Because you had voted on Moonlight.
That's right.
And our friend Taryn had voted on La La Land. And
for a second.
Well, for like 30 seconds or something, she thought she had won.
Right.
And then, and so anyway.
It's a big upset.
So we're coming up on that. And so I've seen all the main Oscar movies, and I thought we would do an episode on the Oscars. What do you say, Berto?
Get out.
This is the Psychology in Seattle podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor and a movie watcher. Who are you, Berto?
My name is Humberto Castañeda. I design tapestry.
So I just want to say we're going to try not to spoil anything, because we usually spoil everything. I'm just going to try to keep it spoiler free.
Yeah.
But also know that we're not very good at that. So beware. Now, this Oscars, there's a lot of records being made. Did you know that? Do you know any records?
I didn't. Well, okay, actually, isn't there's some records with the Get Out movie, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what they are?
Most black nominated people or something? Or?
So Jordan Peele, first black filmmaker ever,
Really?
nominated for directing, writing, and producing in the same year.
Wow.
Yeah, first one ever. He's also only the fifth black person to be nominated for Best Director, after John Singleton for Boys in the Hood, Lee Daniels for Precious,
Wow.
Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave, and Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. None of which actually won for director, I should say.
I see.
So if Jordan Peele wins Best Director, he'll be the first black American or black person to win.
I see.
Greta Gerwig is the fifth woman to be nominated for Best Director. We had Lena Wertmüller for Seven Beauties in 1977. Jane Campion for The Piano in 1994. Remember that movie? You didn't like it?
No.
I remember liking it. Sofia Coppola for Lost in Translation, 2004. Catherine Bigelow for The Hurt Locker. She actually was the first woman to win in 2010. And now we have Greta Gerwig, Lady Bird for 2018. Christopher Nolan, his first nomination.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which you wouldn't think, but
No, I wouldn't think.
First director nomination.
Okay.
Logan getting a screenplay nomination is the first superhero comic book movie in history to win a writing nomination.
But it wasn't nominated for Best Picture.
No.
Okay.
Dee Reese is the first African-American woman to be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay for Mudbound.
Wow.
Rachel Morrison, first female nominee in the Best Cinematography category. Christopher Plummer is the oldest acting nominee in history. He's 88 years old. Meryl Streep has her 21st nomination. She broke her own record for the most nominated actor of all time. John Williams got his 51st nomination, so he broke his own record. Still the most nominated living person for any Oscar.
Wow.
Get Out is the first horror movie since The Sixth Sense in 2000 to be nominated for Best Picture. And Mary J. Blige for Mudbound is the first person to be nominated for both a performance and an original song in the same year.
So what you're saying to me is political correctness has ruined the Oscars.
What I'm saying is that for whatever reason, our society and the film industry and everything is conspiring to actually provide some representation. Now, if we can only get some Asian Americans in that, then I'll really be happy.
I see. You want it to be like Star Wars now.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about Best Picture here. And I've ranked this by my ranking. I have a lot of 8s out of 10s, which is actually pretty rare for me. It's not rare to have some of the Oscars, some 8s.
But you're saying there's a lot of good stuff here.
There's a lot of good stuff, but it's actually no 9s, no 10s.
No 9s, no 10s.
Usually there's a 9, like Moonlight I gave a 9 last year.
Yeah.
There's no 9s. I just want to say that out front.
Okay, I thought you were going to be higher with Lady Bird. I seem to remember you really liking that.
I really liked it, 8 out of 10.
Right.
But I wouldn't call it, as good as Moonlight or something. Really love Lady Bird. Okay, so Get Out is 8 out of 10. Wonderful movie. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I love Get Out.
So is that the only Best Picture you've
saw
seen?
it twice.
Yeah?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I've seen part of the war one.
Dunkirk?
Dunkirk.
I actually hope that Get Out wins. I'm guessing it's not, but I really do hope it wins because it would be a pretty cool win. I think
Sure.
it would be a very hip.
They might have handed one of. Wait, is it nominated for both director and picture?
Yeah. So and
Yeah.
it might win that. But anyway, definitely rewatchable. I've seen it a few times. It's really great. It has a great message in it. The psychology angle is it talks about racism and slavery and about how white people are always wanting to be like black people.
I was so on the edge of my seat for so much of that movie.
It talks about hypnosis in a ridiculous way, but whatever. Going back to the minstrel shows, white people have been dying to be black from the beginning. And it also has like brain transplants, which are, probably in our future at some point. Anything else you want to say about Get Out?
It was.
I guess I just spoiled part of it.
You
Shit.
did spoil
God
part
damn
of it.
it.
You said.
Well, that's an older one. So if you haven't seen Get Out,
I was thrilled. I had no idea what this movie was about. I went in with very low expectations, I guess, but
yeah, so did I.
was on the edge of my seat the whole movie.
Yeah, it was. It's and for people who don't like horror, it's really below the like. I know people who hate horror. In fact, I'm kind of one of those people.
Yeah.
This movie is not in that category.
There's only one movie I liked better last year.
What was that?
Mother!
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Darkest Hour, I gave 8 out of 10. I really like this movie. It's about Winston Churchill.
Right.
I'm a sucker for historical movies.
Yeah.
As long, even like I just watched LBJ with Woody Harrelson from a couple years ago, and I liked it. It's a pretty badly made movie.
I've never seen that one.
But I just love to watch. I just love history, and so watching Darkest Hour, I've seen so many different movies, including Dunkirk. Dunkirk is about the exact same time.
Yeah,
Darkest Hour is about Winston Churchill's side of trying to evacuate people from Dunkirk.
Yeah,
and so both
funny.
of those,
it's like both movies came out,
right? And both those movies, even if they were badly made, which they weren't, I would still have loved to watch it because it's just like, oh, it's at the very least I'm learning about history, and I'm seeing because I need to be able to see what history looked like. Like one of the things that I love about Dan Carlin's podcast about history, hardcore history, is he doesn't just talk about history, he paints a picture.
Yeah, you've mentioned how he like really lays it out.
Yeah, like when he talks about the Roman wars, he says, okay, imagine this. You are a Roman centurion and you have your sandals on and you have, he really like walks you through it. The dust is rising. You can only see because, there's no optics for seeing on a battlefield. You only see like the soldier in front of you and near you, and you hear some,
Plus the earth is flat, so...
And he describes the Battle of Cannae. I don't know if it's a famous battle where tens of thousands of Roman soldiers got enveloped by, who was it? One of the major.
I think you're thinking of the movie 300.
Yeah. It was great to see. It's Darkest Hour. I thought I could see.
I also love Winston Churchill depictions.
Yeah, I could see how people would. Think that this movie was boring because it's just a lot of politicians talking,
Sure.
But I really liked it, and it really appeals to older people. I've realized at my university, older people really kind of identify because he's kind of an old cranky guy who always knows the right answers.
I wonder if Dunkirk. Did you know the name Dunkirk before Dunkirk came
Absolutely, because as a mild history buff, I absolutely knew about Dunkirk.
I never had heard that name.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's just a thing here in the States.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like if in England, everyone knows Dunkirk.
I suspect that more English people know about Dunkirk. Yeah.
And the other thing is, it sort of bugged me. I don't know why. It was a combination of donut and Kirk, and I'm like, Dunkirk. I don't like that name.
Well, Kirk, as I know, since it's my name, is a Scandinavian word for church.
I see.
Anyway, Lady Bird, I gave another 8 out of 10. Amazing coming of age movie. It's riveting. It's hard to make a movie like this without it becoming cheesy or boring or overdramatic because there's really no plot to it, Right.
Which is like why people didn't like About a Boy or Boyhood.
Boyhood, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very similar movie to Boyhood, except as I told you,
Yeah.
I was like, it's like Boyhood, but it's more entertaining. But it's one of your favorite movies, so you're like, wait a second, what are you saying? A lot of psychological angles in Lady Bird, gender, family systems, growing up, independence, enmeshment, all that kind of stuff. And I did a whole episode on that. You can listen to that. Dunkirk also gave it 8 out of 10. Rewatched it again last night. Really liked it. I liked it. You need to watch it because the first time you watch it, it's a confusing timeline, and he interweaves a 3 different stories, even visually. Like you're on one character and you look up and you see a plane, and the first time you watch it, you just think, oh, he's just seeing a plane. The second, and then at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, he was seeing Tom Hardy in a plane. Like, and then the second time you watch it, I enjoyed it a lot more actually, or I enjoyed it in a different way, I guess. But anyway, some of the dialogue in Dunkirk was pretty bad, I have to say. Like,
but I see what you're saying. Like the actual lines.
Yeah. Most of the lines are between the admiral and this army.
The parts I've watched, I've only watched a bit of the beginning. There wasn't a lot of talking, but it was very intense.
Yeah.
Intense.
And the music is phenomenal. I mean, music is always important, but I would say the music in this movie is probably like a third to a half of the emotional effect of this movie. And, it's Hans Zimmer, and it just builds and builds. And as a musician and as a songwriter, you and I are musicians, songwriters, I just have to say, like, he makes it look easy. Like, the way he builds tension is just like, if you just listen to it for a second, you're like, oh, he's just kind of creating a mood. But it's like, he creates a mood. Normally when you write music for a movie, you have scenes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here's the love scene, or here's the scene where things are all tense, or here's the scene where it's happy, or here's the triumphant scene, like John Williams, John in Star Wars, which is also beautiful. There's dun 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 da, and then there's the ending of Star Wars Episode 4 where they're getting the medals. There's songs that go. There's discrete songs. Well, in Dunkirk, it's one song. You could argue the entire movie is one long, interesting song. Because that's how Nolan likes to make his movies. He tonally likes to have it just like move quickly. That's why Dark Knight works so well. It's because he never stops for a slowdown. It's just like a constant boom, 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 boom. Keep it moving forward, forward, forward. Energy, tenseness.
Does he have the dun?
Yeah,
dun.
Not that song exactly, but a similar kind of mood. But yeah, some of the dialogue between McDonough, what's his name? Anyway, it's a little. I'm just like, man, is that the best you could have come up with? But it's almost. I think Dunkirk actually loses points in the general public because it's almost too realistic.
I see.
Because there's no hero. Yeah. Like, it's just people trying to get off of the beach.
Right. They're not trying to save Private Ryan.
I guess there's one hero. Tom Hardy is arguably a hero in it, and he's in an airplane, a fighter, and you could absolutely call him a hero. But the main character, he's actually a secondary. Anyway, I think it's great. 8 out of 10. I would have liked it better if it had just a little bit more story or character, because actually there's not. You could argue there isn't a single character arc to anyone in this movie. It's almost so real that you don't really have the kind of cinematic character that you kind of need in a situation like that. And I'm sure Nolan did that on purpose, because Nolan's pretty good with character. He knows how to, I think, have a through line for someone. And
this is the moment of your liberation, Batman.
3 Billboards, again, 8 out of 10. I did a whole episode on this. I really liked it. It's not my favorite of his. He did.
Is Woody Harrelson in that?
Yeah, he's a minor character. He was actually nominated for Best Supporting, which is very strange to me. But it's the guy who made In Bruges and Seven Psychopaths.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Which are I give those movies 9 out of 10.
You told me I would really like this one. If I like those, which I do.
Yeah. Right.
Is this one not as good as those?
Well, that's sort of my litmus test is like people are like, should I see Three Billboards? And I was like, well, have you seen In Bruges or Seven Psychopaths? And if someone's like, yeah, and I hated them. And I'm like, you might not like Three
But
Billboards.
I did like those, so...
Yeah, I'm guessing you'll like it. It's different, but tonally it's similar. It's almost like a more mainstream version of those two movies. Since it's come out, I've listened to other podcasts talk about movies who hate this movie.
Yeah.
It won the Golden Globe for Best Picture.
But I've heard hate against it.
Yeah. And I've heard their arguments, and I can't say I can't disagree with what they're saying. I mean, they pick it apart and some points where it's like, okay, I can see that. But to me, those things didn't bother me. And the only thing I can sort of chalk it up to was I like this guy's style.
Yeah.
I like his style so much that it didn't bother me. It's like I love Star Wars so much when Mary Poppins happens, it didn't throw me off. You know, I was like, well, I don't like that Mary Poppins bit, but man, do I love Star Wars.
That's what happened to me with, there's this gal I really admire. She did an episode of her YouTube channel about all the things that she doesn't like about Rogue One. And I listened to it, and I was like, yep. I don't think I disagreed with a single thing she didn't like, but I still liked Rogue One.
Yeah.
And it's
not only liked it, you loved it.
Yeah, I love Rogue One.
We love Rogue One.
And it's even so. I recently
By
watched.
the way, we got to make sure we get our Han Solo tickets because it's coming up in it's coming up in May.
Oh, it's not a December thing.
No, it's May. Like,
oh boy,
I think May 25.
Oh boy. Okay, we gotta
be.
do it.
We're gonna be in town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am now. So it was similar with the latest Quentin Tarantino movie,
Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight. I finally watched it recently, and I will say,
wait, I thought we saw it in the theater.
No, I didn't see that one.
We saw Django Unchained.
Yeah,
together.
Django Unchained.
Yeah.
So I liked it, but I liked it more of what I liked about it is the style.
Yeah.
There were things about it where I was like, plot wise, this and that. But he's got such a style that I enjoy.
Yeah, I actually rewatched that recently and liked it even better the second time.
Mm-hmm.
The first time watching it, the shooting blood bits, I was like not expecting it.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, man, come on, Quentin. It's like up until this point, you've made a movie that was pretty realistic, you know?
Yeah.
In Kill Bill, go for it.
Yeah.
But not in this movie. We don't need to see like gushing Japanese blood in these situations. You know, it's like, golly.
This was a case
But the second time I watched it, I knew it was going to happen. And so it didn't bother me as much.
Yeah, this was a case of where I was like, well, the story is just not as interesting, but I love the style.
Man, you got to watch it again because once you know all the characters and like, you know,
because you know all the backstory.
Yeah, you know how it ends. You're just it's the tension and the genius of the play on race and the play on it's so good.
I guess what I specifically mean is that the actual plot of what is happening, like if you just trace the line of without the embellishments, this guy's taking this gal to go
it's
get her.
pretty.
It's like really small and linear.
Yeah,
but it's all the devil's in the details. Whereas a lot of his other movies have quite an intricate plot.
Well,
you know, like it's a revenge story. Like think of Kill Bill. It's like this epic revenge story, right?
But each scene is I hear what you're saying, but like a movie like Reservoir Dogs, again, the story is
I don't remember it now, but
you don't remember Reservoir Dogs?
No, I remember the style and the movie, but I don't remember the plot. Like I don't.
Well, the plot is these guys get hired to do a heist.
Yeah.
There's something gets screwed up and they start trickling back to the safe house.
Yeah.
And stuff happens there.
Sure.
And there's flashbacks to before, you know what I mean? So, you know,
I guess you could say that of Pulp Fiction, like it's like what happened? Well, these guys go get a suitcase and then blah blah blah, you know.
Yeah. But I'm a person who loves Jackie Brown. Lately YouTube, so I just finally figured out that when you go to YouTube, the homepage, if you're logged into your Google account, it kind of predicts what sort of videos you like without, you don't have to click on any videos. It just on your homepage, it's like these 10 videos.
Like this.
Yeah. And for some reason it thought I would like Jackie Brown clips, and boy, was it right.
Yeah.
The scene where Robert De Niro and Bridget Fonda, the final scene with Bridget Fonda, I don't know. Anyway.
They had broken that, by the way, at least on the mobile app. For a while, it was awesome. for a long time. I would always find stuff. Then there were like a couple months recently where it got stuck on some videos that I didn't want to watch, never clicked on them, and they stayed there.
But you can click on it, say, I'm not interested.
Yeah, but I didn't. I sort of didn't want to because they were actual channels I was subscribed to, but videos I didn't want to watch, and yet they just hung around indefinitely. So it was like it was stuck.
Yeah. So 3 Billboards, there's a lot of psychology. There's gender. There's domestic violence. There's a ton of grief. I mean, I'm really proud of Hollywood making some really quality Oscar-worthy movies about grief.
Yeah.
You know, Manchester by the Sea, the entire movie is about grief.
Good grief.
It's, you know, obviously race is involved in 3 Billboards, government power. Phantom Thread, I think this movie probably should win the Oscar.
Isn't this the last performance of what's his name?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I heard that's a bit of a troll that him and P.T. Anderson are actually playing.
Okay.
Maybe it is. Who knows? But
I thought it was his swan song.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to Daniel Day-Lewis wanting to take a break.
Yeah.
Because of how into his characters he gets. Yeah. But anyway, who knows? 8 out of 10. Phantom Thread is a very unique movie. Every shot is like a painting. If you've seen the trailers, the entire movie is that.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? It is just like, and it's a period piece.
That's the one I'm looking forward to the most, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm such a fan of both of them.
Yeah, but did you see his P.T. Anderson's last movie? The one with it's like in the 70s about these pot smokers.
I guess I didn't.
Did
I miss a P.T. Anderson?
Oh God, what was it called? I can't even remember, but it was. I thought it was terrible. Critics loved it, but you know, then The Master was before that,
which I liked too.
Yeah. But then the movie he made between it, I didn't like it. I know critics loved it, and it didn't make any sense to me anyway.
Okay,
but so Phantom Thread. No plot, but not confusing like his last movie. I can't remember and it's not as sort of intense as The Master. You know, it's not as psychologically. It doesn't like screw with you. It's just about this dressmaker, and he, I guess, kind of falls in love with this woman that he changes into a model. And
well, let me ask you, which movie do you think I should be looking forward the most?
Man,
I've already seen Get Out.
So it is hard to say because Call Me By Your Name, I also gave 8 out of 10. So we got, you know, Darkest Hour. The movie you should see, you got to see Dunkirk because
but I'm going to watch that one. Take that one as given.
I would say Phantom Thread and Call Me By Your Name are sort of equal recommends.
Which one's Call Me By Your Name?
I'll get into that in a second. But Phantom Thread is but be ready to not be entertained.
Are we not entertained?
Both Phantom Thread and Call Me By Your Name are similar in tone, and both of them don't have a plot.
Okay.
But every scene is amazing, and the characters are beautiful.
Okay.
Like beautiful, not in like the Pamela Anderson direction, but just beautiful.
She's still beautiful.
Just beautiful. I don't know how to put the words on it, but I mean, I guess Armie Hammer is like objectively a pretty guy, but anyway. From Call Me By Your Name. But anyway, Phantom Thread, it's like a documentary in a sense. The dialogue feels very natural. There isn't a single cheesy moment in the entire movie. You could argue the ending gets a little cheesy, but I don't think so. It has a pretty dark turn at the end that kind of starts to make some sense. Okay. Which I'd be really curious to hear what you would say.
Which one is this?
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread, yeah. Phantom Thread.
But the movie is about attachment. If you want to know the psychological angle to this, that I would say, if you've seen the movie is 100% about attachment and about how people have problems with communicating about their attachment needs. Essentially, it's between, you know, this dressmaker and this model.
Right.
And they both are desperate for attachment, and they're both very lonely people.
I see.
But because they're in this world, they communicate through this language of dresses and everything, and they're desperately trying to have just a normal life.
Yeah.
And the way that the movie wraps up towards the end, in the final like 10%, is their screwed up answer to answering the question about attachment. It's such an interesting when you think about it through an attachment lens, you're like, oh, that is an interesting like solution to get your attachment needs met.
I see.
Call Me by Your Name, 8 out of 10. Again, no plot. Very cool, old style, made by an Italian guy, Luca Guadagnino. I can't pronounce his name. This movie stuck with me, man.
Really?
Yeah. Like, of all the movies, I would say Call Me by Your Name probably lasted the longest in my soul.
Whoa. Does this have Carly Rae Jepsen in it?
Does it?
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Call Me Maybe.
Oh, I get it. It has Armie Hammer and Timothy Chalamet. Armie Hammer from The Social Network. You know,
what a name, by the way.
I know. Well,
Armie Hammer.
That's a nickname. His real name is like longer than Armie. But anyway, he was from Social Network.
Who is he in The Social Network?
The twins, the Winklevoss twins.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He plays both of them.
Okay.
He's in Lone Ranger, Man from U.N.C.L.E., Birth of a Nation, Nocturnal Animals, and Free Fire. And from what I can, so this isn't really. I mean, I guess it kind of is spoiling, but I think most people know Call Me by Your Name is about gay people, gay boys, gay men, and both of these actors, Armie Hammer and Timothy Chalamet, from what I can tell on their Wikipedia pages, they're both partnered up with cis women, and so maybe they're bisexual. I don't know, but if they are straight, my God,
is this the Cabin in the Woods? What was that movie? You complete me. No, I'm getting it all wrong. Oh my God. What's the guy from Donnie Darko and the guy who died, the Joker?
Heath Ledger. And what's his face? But
what was that movie? Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, they were very they were very convincing. It's more like, but anyway, those guys were pretty convincing as gay men. Well, Call Me by Your Name is that times 100.
Okay.
Like, they do not shy away from the gay depictions of sex, which a lot of movies that are attempting to be mainstream will do.
Okay.
They'll sort of like, well, we're getting to, like in Moonlight, for example.
Right.
There is hardly any actual the way
There's
that
an
you
implied hand job or something.
Right. And like hugging and lots of looking and romantic talking.
Right.
Call Me by Your Name. It waits a while, but boy, oh boy, does it like it doesn't shy away. And I think that's because it's an Italian director.
I see. Okay.
Who was just like, look, we're gonna get it, and heterosexual stuff too. Like, it doesn't shy away from anything. Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be in this, which was interesting. It's 80s. There's some pretty cool early 80s stuff. In this. Okay, The Shape of Water. This is my predicted win.
I forgot about The Shape of Water.
Yeah, Shape of Water. I gave it 7 out of 10.
Oh, you didn't recommend it as the one I should watch.
No, I mean it. You should see it, but it's it's fine, but it's not. I don't think amazing. It's 7 out of 10 to me is like great movie. You know, one of my top 20 movies of the year probably. You know
At first, I thought it was a spin-off of Hellboy. Because that creature looks like Hellboy's sidekick, the little water guy.
No, right. Well, maybe like sort of related, but not really.
Sure
it's a very simple story. It's a good movie. There's if it wins, I won't mind.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a crime against humanity. The actress is amazing. She's a great choice because she actually has some ugliness to her, and I don't mean that derogatory. Like, I didn't think she was ugly. But whenever they pick like the Black Swan character, it's always someone like like Margot Robbie with glasses on. You know what I mean? Margot Robbie with glasses on, and it's like, come on, she's not actually. She's like literally
in the 80s, right?
in the top 0.001% most beautiful people who have ever lived.
Like, here comes the nerdy girl. She took off her glasses and let her hair down.
Right.
Whoa.
Well, the woman whom I'm forgetting her name in The Shape of Water, she actually has certain looks to her that are actually ugly, but it doesn't put me off. I'm just like, and ugly meaning like she looks normal. You know what I mean?
You're body shaming her. It's fine.
No, her face, there's a normalcy to her face, I guess is the point. And I thought that was a great choice because, they could have gone with someone more conventionally beautiful, like
Right.
Keira Knightley probably.
I just love when you meet her and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so refreshing to see someone not conventionally beautiful, someone, normal ugly.
And this goes for men too. I mean, they frequently will just get these, beautiful men like Armie Hammer, for example. I love the director's choice to keep it simple and not to use too much CGI. I mean, the fish man you can tell it's a dude in a suit. Like,
hello, Aquaman.
it is like there's no, you can tell like, oh, they put a dude in a suit and that's him. You know what I mean? It's just because he wanted to make Creature from the Black Lagoon and he actually falls in love. It's sort of slow in the midpoint, which probably docked it down to a 7, actually. If it wasn't, it gets to this point in the middle of the movie where it's like, it was sort of like the Star Wars thing where they've run out of gas, and it's just like, it's like, how is that how you wrote that into the script for it to like just kind of grind to a halt for a half an hour?
It's funny because I actually felt that in the preview. So I wonder if it translates the same way to the movie. Because I remember when I watched the preview, I thought, oh, interesting. And then about maybe 3/4 of the way into the preview, I was like, okay. And then it ends, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. And the ending was way too sappy for my for my taste. I mean, I hope it doesn't ruin it, but I'm just saying, like, the ending, I was like, but I'm guessing that's what helps it to get Oscar, and such mainstream success is because it has.
I was honestly surprised it got so much notoriety because from the preview, I thought, oh, this might be something I like, but I had no idea it would get like.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's like, why didn't Logan get nominated?
Yeah. Or Logan, okay. Oh, I forgot about Logan.
Or Baby Driver. Or there's a bunch of movies where it's like, why didn't those?
I'd say Logan was easily in my top 5 last year.
Yeah. The psychology in this movie, there's a lot of gender, there's a lot of government power, there's a lot of wanting to be seen and feeling like you're invisible is sort of a theme. But the main thing that I want to highlight that I think is wonderful in this movie is that it portrays female sexuality in this very real, sort of upfront manner.
I see.
That right from the very opening sequence, female sexuality is present.
Like, it dispels the myths of the clit and the G-spot.
And it, instead of shying away from it or making it about someone's sexuality male and sexuality being sort of gazed at her, she's the one gazing.
Ah, interesting.
No one. I mean, you could say that the Michael Shannon character is this like really horrible, but if aside from that, all the sexuality is her desire and her wanting essentially to get off in some ways. You know what I mean? And you do not normally see that. It's normally sexuality is 99% of the time in movies seen from the male perspective.
Right. I have seen some people like that in real life, though.
So I, Tonya, I gave 6 out of 10. A lot of people love this movie. I thought it was fine.
Wait a minute. I, Tonya was nominated?
For Best Picture, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Doesn't it glorify her?
Yeah.
And isn't she like really bad?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Who plays her?
Margot Robbie.
Oh, Margot Robbie. Okay.
She recently admitted on ABC. She said she overheard the two guys who injured Nancy Kerrigan or conspired to injure. That she said on ABC recently. I think she accidentally let this out that she actually heard them talking about taking someone out to ensure that she was going to win the Olympic team. And she ignored it because she didn't think they were serious or something. So this whole time, so if you don't know, Nancy Kerrigan was hurt by a hoodlum, some kind of goon in the leg, which made her not able to make the U.S. Olympic team, which made Tonya Harding make the Olympic team. And instantly everyone figured it was Tonya Harding because she was the low-class kid from the wrong side of the streets in Portland, which I didn't even know she was from Portland.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Like anyone who lives in Portland, Oregon is like, of course she's from Portland, but I didn't know she was like Portland people I consider to be kind of our people,
And by the way, Tonya Harding does not look like Margot Robbie.
Right. But I will say that Margot Robbie absolutely did a great job. I don't think she really acts like the real, because if you actually look at the real Tonya Harding, she's a character. You know, she has an interesting kind of character to her. But I thought that Margot Robbie, because the movie really relies on her, and she does a pretty great job. But yeah, I hate these movies that they're like, okay, we want to make a movie about Tonya Harding, that whole thing. And then instead of making a nuanced story about a nuanced character, they make her into a hero.
That's crazy.
And they portray some of the stuff that I thought actually makes her a sympathetic character. Like she was abused by many people in her life, which I thought was a good choice. You know, it's like, oh, that's interesting. You know,
which I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, and it makes sense.
A spoiler. So you've ruined the movie. That's fine.
It makes sense given kind of the way some of her attitudes about things and her struggle, but it absolutely portrays her as an innocent victim of these guys, her husband or ex-husband at the time, conspiring with these other guys to hurt Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah.
So what I thought they were going to do, because a responsible thing would be like, tell the story, but leave it up to, but say it in a way that makes it seem like it could have gone either way. Like maybe she knew, maybe she didn't.
Right.
They tell a story where she did not know.
Right.
That's how they told the story. And I'm like, that's the main reason why we're watching this movie.
Right.
And you are coming down hard on she is a hero.
Right.
She's a victim of society and of her ex-husband and these men and everything. And then she goes on ABC and admits, yeah, I overheard them talking about taking someone out, quote unquote, to get me onto the Olympic team. Maybe they were talking about Nancy Kerrigan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's walk ourselves through that.
Yeah.
You are training to get on the U.S. Olympic team. You overhear your husband or ex-husband, I can't remember if they were divorced at the time, in the house that you're living in.
Right.
You hear them talking, these two men that you're close to.
Yeah, it's not like on the subway. It's not like on the subway some people next to her randomly are talking.
They're and these are like criminal people.
Right.
You know what I mean? These aren't like, librarians talking. These are like known sketchy dudes talking about quote unquote taking someone out. Who do you think they're talking about?
And I'm supposed to believe the story she's telling on live TV is the unfiltered truth?
Right, exactly. So
and filtered truth is that.
And she just proved that she's a complete liar because for the past 24 years up until this moment, she has been claiming she had not heard anything about this.
Right.
So it's like she's now on the scale of monstrosity.
Right.
Tonya Harding is not that bad. Yeah. I mean, Nancy Kerrigan continued to ice skate. Yeah. In a lot of respects, you could say no one would even know about her if this didn't happen. I'm not saying it's a good thing for her, but on the scale of like people we should abhor, I don't think Tonya Harding is one of those people. She's not high on the list anyway. But anyway, regardless of that, I thought I, Tonya was fun and interesting because again, I love history.
Can't believe it's called I, Tonya, for example. Oh my God!
But it's kind of just kind of a normal movie to me. And also another thing that
what'd you give it?
6 out of 10.
Okay.
And what people are saying about it is it's like, they ride the line between, making jokes, but not making fun of poor people. I'm here to tell you this movie flat out makes fun of poor people. Like it doesn't ride the line.
Okay.
Like if you are not a poor person, I'm guessing you're not going to feel the pain because you're going to actually laugh. Like, oh, look at those poor, ignorant idiots.
Sure.
But the movie is arguably 75% of its entertainment value is set up to laugh at poor, low-class people, And so it just felt gross to me. Margot was amazing. The the supporting actress was great too. The psychology about this, if you want to get a psychology of domestic violence and of abuse from a extremely abusive mother, then that. But classism is definitely a part of this movie. It's also an interesting case of it's really hard to keep a lie going. Tanya Harding didn't have to say that on ABC this year, but she did because it's so hard to keep a lie going.
Right.
You know, it's just so hard when you're not a psychopath.
Yeah, when it's something you have to work at.
Right. It's just so hard. There's such a compulsion to like tell people the truth. You know. Okay, 2 more movies. The Post, which I gave 8 out of 10, but
you gave it an 8.
or no, sorry, I gave it a 5 out of 10. But
Yeah, right.
Let's take a break, and then when we come back. All right, we're back from the break. So, Berto, I want to give a little update before moving forward about my cat because I sort of accidentally let out in a previous episode by myself that my cat was sick. And,
Which cat?
Bama, yeah. And so he has passed away.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, well, I haven't told anybody really. But I just wanted to tell everyone on the podcast that thanks for all of your well wishes and your reaching out to me. It's not normal that I'll talk about elements of that in my personal life, and I think it's sort of weird for me to do that. But it was really great. A lot of people provided some advice and resources about how to take care of an elderly cat. But I don't want to, and I haven't really been responding to emails about it because it's just a personal thing, and I don't want to get into like conversations around like treatment planning or something. Just suffice it to say that it was imminently that he was going to die, and there wasn't anything anyone could do, and if there was something, it would require lots of terrible procedures, and it would probably only extend his life for a very short amount of time. He had multiple things wrong with him. Anyway, he died. He was 15, so
15.
That's around the time when you expect cats to start to get to that
many
age.
cat years.
And it was horrible.
I can imagine, man.
Heart-wrenching. It was just terrible. It's still terrible. I walk around my house and I just expect him to be there.
Yeah.
He's been there with me. I'm one of those cat owners that takes cat ownership very seriously.
Yeah.
These aren't just pets that walk around. Like these are creatures that are close to my heart, and it's rough. But I just want to give everyone the update. He's passed away. He's moved on to another plane of existence, and he had a lot of great years, and he was a great cat, and he was really nice. He hated everyone else except for me, I think. And I'm sure he is in the next world chasing a laser. I know you know what it's like to lose a cat. I wrote a song about a tiger lily who got hit by a car and didn't die right away.
Yeah, and I wasn't even there with her, which is, I don't know if that's better or worse.
I know, it's just heartbreaking. Cats and dogs, they depend on us, and they're so defenseless.
I was thinking about this because when I was a kid, I had a dog in Colombia named Jack, and someone poisoned him, but our theory was that they were poisoning him to try to like get in the house or something. But so he got super, super sick, and we unfortunately had to put him down. So they injected him with something. And I was young. I wasn't that young, but I might have been like 10 years old or something. And it's interesting because even at that age, I think your brain is not fully, I know it's not fully developed yet, but like the part of you that really gets what death is certainly wasn't all there, because I remember being sad and like, of course my dog's gone and now my dog's not there. But nowhere near the reaction I had as an adult when my cat died.
Yeah, me too. Immaturity, I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
but yeah, same. I mean, I was arguably way closer to a dog I had growing up.
Yeah.
And when my dog died when I was, I think, in college, it didn't even really register with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the older I get, I had this thought that probably isn't true, but it felt right at the time, which was when he died, when my cat died yesterday morning.
Oh my God. Dude.
I felt like I was mourning every loss I'd ever had at once. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, it wasn't just that loss, it was every other loss. You know, the pain accumulates, which I don't think makes sense, but that's how it felt.
Actually, that's interesting because when Tiger Lily died, I went into a screaming fit that lasted like an hour.
Yeah.
I was inconsolable.
Yeah, I mean, which I could. I mean, I have to say, like, I would have been similar, because it's like,
And she was very young too. Which
yeah,
is,
she wasn't even fully grown yet.
no, she was. I mean, she was.
She seemed really small, though. She seemed very small, very spunky, and she always wanted to go outside.
I mean, I guess she was. She when she died, she was like 3 years old. Or something.
Oh, okay.
But at most,
She was very fragile, I thought. And you know, the thing that really gets in us in some situations with pets is that it's usually you know, when our parents will pass away, or grandparents or something, we go to the hospital, there's physicians, there's, you know, usually sometimes people get hit by cars or sudden heart attacks or something, but usually it's like there's consultations, there's talks, there's this and that, and you go over your options. There's a team of people, and and there's insurance to pay for things, or at least, you know, state government, you know. And so you just sort of, you have time, and there's options to extend life that are usually, you know, decided on. When it comes to our pets, it's usually, the death is usually dependent on us.
Yeah.
You know, we make the choice. Like, I made the choice yesterday morning with Tiger Lily. You could have chosen not to let her out of the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's just, guilt is this huge component of complicated grief. And with pets, I feel like it's rampant with like justifiable guilt.
Yeah.
I made the choice. I drove him to the vet. I paid for it. I gave them my credit card. I signed on the line. At any point, I could have been like, nope, walking out of here with my cat. This is not happening today. Yeah. And, you know, it's just terrible. There's just nothing about it that is good. It's just
my mom went through this again with another dog that she had. I mean, this one was more her dog than my dog, but I also grew up around it too. And she got a tumor, and she had to be put to sleep as well. And then she had another dog that also got old, got blind, and then they finally put her down. Like, this is a common thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's just, it's part of, and the other part of this that I'll say, and we should move on, is because I had a cat. I've had cats and dogs my whole life, but as an adult, I haven't really been the one responsible the way I have been to Boo. Do you remember Boo, the one I had? Yeah. So I had to put him down. When I put him down, it was so obvious it was time. Do you know what I mean? Like, he probably would have died like a couple hours later if I hadn't done it. That was a very hard one for me too. I think because I was older or something. And after he died, I got 2 new cats. Yeah. And I said to myself, okay, when they go, make sure you prepare yourself. Like, don't, you know, fall in love with the cats, be with them, enjoy them, but know that in all likelihood, they're leaving this world before you do. And, you know, just prepare yourself. Right. So right from the start. And then this, you know, Obama, he got diagnosed with some terminal illness 4 years ago. And it might have been the same one. But I was preparing for him to die 4 years ago. And then ever since then, I've always been like, oh, when's that going to crop up again? And, and it would sometimes, and blah, blah. And then, so I had this delusion like a week ago. I was like, you know what? This is going to be tough, but I feel prepared. I feel, I know what's happening. I've been preparing for this for a long time. When I would talk with others, I'd be like, he might have just another couple weeks, and just that's how these things go. And, I had all the right kind of preparation and acceptance.
Right.
And had basically been saying my goodbyes for 4 years because I never knew when it was going to happen. That meant nothing when the time came. I mean, I'm telling you that meant nothing. The pain was just so severe, and the turmoil. It wasn't just like loss; it was uncertainty and guilt and suicide and just. I mean, not that severe, but it wasn't a pleasant thing.
Horrible,
it was, loss does not, we are, it was good while it lasted, and certainly that thoughts like that, but there's also this element of just like pure darkness, and anyway, so let's go on with our Oscar.
So, hey, listen, I am really sorry to hear that. I didn't know, obviously, but yeah, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even told, you're probably the first person like outside my immediate circle that I've told. I haven't posted on Facebook or anything. Right. It just feels like I don't know. I just don't really want to talk about it with anybody really. But anyway, listeners, thanks for caring. That's mighty nice of you. All right. Last one here, The Post. I gave 5 out of 10. There are people who this is Spielberg being Spielberg.
Man, didn't we talk about this? Because I think you had told me you didn't like this, or someone told me they didn't like it. I don't remember the last good Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, but there are people who love Spielberg so much. So I've been listening to other movie podcasts, and there are people who love Spielberg so much, and this is Spielberg-y up the wazoo. Okay. And so this is like their top movie of the year.
I wonder if I'll like it. I used to love Spielberg.
I mean, 5 out of 10 to me means watchable. Yeah. It's like, sure, yes.
Sure.
Worth seeing. Just if you miss it, you're not missing much is the point. And the other people who love this movie are people who love the message, which I absolutely agree with.
Oh, okay. The message of the movie.
Yeah.
I thought you meant a movie called The Message.
It is a historical movie about journalists who fight against the government for free speech, essentially, and to talk about the truth of the Vietnam War.
Right.
But
were you the one telling me about the Pepsi commercial moment?
Yeah. So the Pepsi commercial bit was there's this scene in the middle that has a very Spielbergian sweeping crane camera shot going over the crowd of protesters, Vietnam protesters, and it looks like a high school production. The actors look like a high schooler went to Value Village and dressed them. The way that they talk is like a parody of.
Yo, man, it's like your opinion, man.
Yeah, and that scene, it's rare that I'll be in the theater and watching a movie and laughing out loud at how stupid it looks.
Oh no!
And while I was watching this movie, I just started chuckling because I was like, that was bad. And Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks are great. I wouldn't say it's their best roles by any stretch.
Yeah.
The script was cheesy. The script was written by a new screenwriter who, from what I understand, has never written for movies before. I think what happened was Trump was being elected.
Yeah.
And Spielberg very quickly decided, I want to do something about this.
Yeah.
And this script came across his desk, and he was so wrapped up in the moment because he was working on his next movie, and I forget the movie. Ready Player One.
Oh, right, Ready Player One.
Because that comes out this year this
Yeah.
year, and so he was working on that movie. That was his next big thing, and in the middle of production, he decides to pause that whole thing and work on this movie.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, I'm going to veer my entire crew towards this other movie real quick. We'll pound this out, and then we'll get back to Ready Player One.
Right.
Well, it shows, in my opinion. Like the
okay.
post, it seems when I understand the backstory, it's like, oh, okay, that's why it's
That's
not,
why it feels that way.
Yeah, if he had more time, if he had gotten a better screenwriter,
It is weird though. Like something switched between a lot of these. Maybe it's not even movie directors, but you know how the whole phenomena where these comedians that were edgy, like Eddie Murphy, all these people, and then they become family people.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
then
I just watched the documentary on Netflix about him. Actually, it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Have you seen it?
no,
I think it's just called Spielberg. It's amazing because it's interviews with him and his.
he was
family.
one of the rogues in the industry. Right?
Yeah, with Lucas and
Coppola or
yeah, and what's his face who made Carrie, and it's an amazing documentary, and now I will say
De Palma?
De Palma, Brian De Palma. There are 5 scenes from the post that are amazing. I cried.
Okay.
I cried. So how can I go from a movie where I'm laughing at one scene at how horrible it is, and I don't ever do that, to
Crying.
like 15 minutes later,
Right.
when he has the music swelling and Streep does the thing,
Yeah.
and everyone is listening, and it's like it's a true story,
Right.
and it has to do with today and the freedom of speech
Right.
and the press fighting back against the government,
Right.
who is trying Nixon, who's trying to limit free speech,
Right.
the way that Trump is trying to limit free speech.
Yeah.
It is like a perfect scene. It is amazing. It is Spielberg all the way.
See, I can no longer be a judge of that when, it's like, oh, but I cried. Because did I tell you that I cried at the end of Scooby-Doo 2?
But no, I mean, if this movie had maybe the first half cleaned up to about a third the scenes.
Yeah.
Because the first half is just like...
How long is this?
I feel
it
like
one of
every
those
movie
super-
now is 3 hours long. It
Every
felt
an
like
epic.
3 hours in the beginning.
Oh, God.
And because by the time they get to the end, it pays off, I guess. But anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So themes. There are many themes that I want to say. Is that what's one commonality among several of the movies that you can point to? Maybe you actually don't know because you don't know the details.
Well, but I mean, both. Oh, maybe it's not only in the plots, but there's definitely a lot of barriers being broken. Like there's like you said, there were a lot of firsts in this case, but I also think that a lot of these are pushing on hot topic buttons.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, social justice issues.
Yeah.
You have Lady Bird that is about a female coming of age story,
Right.
which is very rare.
Right. You have Get Out, which is about racism.
A black man.
Yeah.
I was looking at Shape of Water. You have a gay man and you have sexual harassment. Call Me by Your Name is just like a beautiful movie, mainstream to some extent, and it's about a gay young man and a gay teenager.
And then you have freedom of speech.
Yeah, a Phantom Thread is potentially, people are saying that he might actually be a gay man himself. The character might be gay, but I, Tonya, domestic violence. 3 Billboards has domestic violence and sort of female power in the movie for sure. So that's a theme. What's another theme?
Well, let's see. Past history.
Exactly. Most of the movies are about the past. Darkest Hour, 1940s.
Yeah.
Dunkirk, 1940s. Lady Bird, 1990s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Well, it's 1990s.
like Dave
is
Matthews.
a long time ago.
There's a lot of you're old when they start fetishizing your adult life years.
Oh my God.
Phantom Thread is about, I think, the 50s, maybe the 60s. Call Me by Your Name is early 80s, which is great. Shape of Water is the 50s or 60s. I, Tonya, 90s. The Post, the 70s.
So there's like no contemporary stuff.
Well, Get Out and 3 Billboards. I mean, Get Out, I think, might even be in the future. But I think it's
okay.
portrayed to be now.
That's true.
And Three Billboards, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be.
Yeah, no,
now.
you're right. Get Out is a little future. That's true.
There's a lot of anti-government stuff as well. Shape of Water, The Post, Three Billboards, that kind of thing. Okay, so movies that should have been nominated.
Mother!
Yeah, absolutely. Why was I, Tonya, nominated and not Mother? The reason why is because of the backlash.
Yeah.
Similar to Three Billboards, which is why I don't think
I would have loved nothing better. Like, if Mother had been nominated and won, because like collectively I could have heard the pop of all the heads exploding. Like,
yeah, you and I did an episode on that movie. You can go back and listen to it, but we both really liked it. You liked it more than I did. I thought the ending was a little over the top. Another two movies that I thought should have been nominated: The Big Sick.
oh right, that didn't even get.
That's and Coco, actually.
Oh, but Coco was nominated for Best Animated, right?
Great, but
Yeah.
but Inside Out I think was nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
So and Coco to me is close to Inside Out, not as good as Inside Out, but to me
I really liked Coco.
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And again, it has all the elements of a Oscar
Yeah.
movie. It's just animated. That's the only reason. It's got this sweeping storyline, and
Is it too Mexican to be nominated?
or too cartoon. It's like Americans hate cartoons. They just
Yeah.
think of cartoons as like, it's kid stuff.
Yeah.
But The Big Sick, I gave 9 out of 10. I think The Big Sick is one of the most perfect movies that's ever been made.
Wow.
It is. Have you seen it?
No.
It is.
You told me all about it.
It's funny. It's touching. It's a true story.
Yeah.
Acted out by people who were actually in the story.
Does it have any nominations?
Yeah, which we'll get into in a second.
Okay.
But also, let's see, Baby Driver didn't get any love. Disaster Artist, Ingrid Goes West. The Lego Batman movie didn't get any love, which I thought was amazing. Okay, so let's.
Boss Baby.
I liked Boss Baby.
I love Boss Baby, but someone was railing against it the other day.
Which I don't get because again, interesting story, not a sequel to anything.
It was fun.
Very touching. I cried. The blackbird singing in the dead of night.
Oh my gosh, dude! So
I mean,
good. So good.
And funny is the villain is funny.
Yeah.
Like it is a good
And
movie.
Alec Baldwin. I mean, I could listen to that guy on anything.
I mean, yeah, it's like Toy Story. It's very much like Toy Story in that it's like this imaginary kid world that the parents can't really see. Anyway, Best Director nominations. We have Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan. I just want to name now. With these people, I'm going to name like some of the things they've worked on.
Yeah.
With Christopher Nolan, I can name every single thing he's worked on because it's all amazing.
Yeah, it's all amazing.
Memento, I gave 10 out of 10. Insomnia, not my favorite, 6 out of 10. It's actually a remake of
But
it.
it's still entertaining.
Yeah, it's okay. Batman Begins, 7 out of 10. The Prestige, 7 out of 10. I might even bump that up to 8 out
Oh
of 10.
yeah, I would go higher than that one.
Prestige is a great movie. I rewatched that recently. Dark Knight, 7 out of 10. I know you love The Dark Knight, but I liked it. But
To be fair, the thing I love the most about The Dark Knight is Heath Ledger. So as a movie, I would go 8.
I mean, it's a fine movie. It's probably my favorite of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Inception, 10 out of 10.
Oh, you go 10 on that one. Okay.
Rewatching it,
I rewatched it recently.
not a 10 out of 10. But when I saw that in the theater and I didn't know what I didn't know what to expect. The way he keeps the action going, the van is falling into and they're in the elevator, and that whole last sequence, it's like an hour long, is interesting, and the music and I was like just on the edge of understanding what was happening. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
it was like with Arrival, at the end of Arrival. Have you seen Arrival?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
At the end, when it all kind of wraps up and Amy Adams talks to the Chinese guy, it's like I'm right at the edge of getting what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it, and I love that feeling of like I'm pretty sure I know what's happening and things are moving and like emotions. Anyway, I just loved Inception.
I'm trying to remember why I recently rewatched it, by the way, because like I can't quite think of why, but I did, and it was so enjoyable.
Well, I also watched a YouTuber had made a movie in which he did the final Inceptions, where they go into the dreams of people, and actually played it out in real time.
I see.
In a like a 4-box format. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So in one thing you see the
slow-mo.
Well, also the van is like in a chase, and they're in one. Anyway, Dark Knight Rises, I gave 6 out of 10. I was not a fan of Dark Knight Rises.
That's the Bane one.
Yeah, I mean it's enjoyable, 6 out of 10. It's entertaining, but the story was ridiculous.
I enjoyed
Bane was ridiculous.
I enjoyed it in the moment when I watched it, but even while I was watching it, I was like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, there are things about that. Similar. It's like he took Dark Knight and took all the bad parts and made more of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it felt long. It felt the ending was super contrived. It was just
yeah. Interstellar, 8 out of 10, and then Dunkirk, 8 out of 10. I mean, he hasn't made a bad movie.
Right.
And
certainly no duds. Nothing you could call a dud. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Get Out, Jordan Peele is nominated, first directing job. He's from Mad TV and Key and Peele, of course.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Mad TV, Key and Peele, Oscar-nominated movie.
Well, are you a big fan of Key and Peele?
Yeah.
Because I think when you think about it, Get Out makes sense.
Totally.
Because it's kind of just like...
That's a skit they would have done.
Yeah, just bigger, you know?
Yeah.
It's like he took the best skit that he ever wrote and said, you know what? That he didn't make into a skit, I'm going to make a movie out of it. Lady Bird, Greta Gerwig, she was in Greenberg. She with what's his face? I really like that movie, Greenberg, 7 out of 10. She was in Frances Ha. She also co-wrote Frances Ha, and she wrote and directed Lady Bird. I think it's her first directing gig.
Wow.
And then in 2018, she's in Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs, which I'm going to bring my tissues to that movie because I'm going to be crying the whole time. I mean, we're talking about pet dogs who are
in a prison island.
Well, yeah, they're in and it's about
in a garbage island.
And it's about a boy who's trying to find his dog. And it's set in Japan.
So I got to be honest. So full disclosure, the first time I heard he was making a new movie, and I think I just saw an image or something, I sort of was like, not another animated thing, because I know like you and a couple of people we know. Like, love the one movie. What's it called? His last with George Clooney and stuff, the animated one.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. And I love it.
Yeah.
But you guys love it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you guys were telling me to watch it, the love was so intense that when I watched it, it downgraded it a point for me. But I still love it, right?
Yeah.
So when I saw the poster and I was like, oh, he's making another animated. At first I was like, Then I saw the latest preview.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
But it looks, straight up Wes Anderson.
And not only, straight up Wes Anderson, but at the same time, talk about innovation.
I know.
Who's doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what?
And mixing styles.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the movie has Japanese-speaking people.
Yeah.
So I think that the what do they call it? The conceit is that the dogs are speaking English so that we can understand what the dogs are saying, and all the humans are speaking Japanese.
Yeah.
And the dogs can't understand them because they speak a different language.
Right.
Anyway, Paul Thomas Anderson nominated for Best Director, Phantom Thread. Again, Paul Thomas Anderson, I can name every single movie he's made and say there's no duds.
Right.
We got Hard 8, 1996. 8 out of 10. Have you seen that movie?
No.
That's his first one. It's really if you like Paul Thomas, it's his most mainstream movie.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Yeah, Hard 8. Yeah, Boogie Nights.
Oh, wait, Hard 8?
Hard 8. It's
wait, I have
gambling.
seen that movie. I have seen that movie.
Yeah,
I
Gwyneth Paltrow.
thought you said Heartache.
Oh, Hard 8.
Yeah.
Hard 8. Boogie Nights, 1987. I know this is one of your favorite movies. I give it a 7 out of 10 because I think it's great. But
yeah. Okay. To be fair. For me, what makes it so great, there's two things. One, the music.
Yeah.
And the second one, it's one of the most rewatchable experiences for me.
Not me so much.
Oh
There are scenes.
Yeah.
But a lot of like the porn stuff.
I feel like I've seen that movie 10 times.
Yeah. So yeah, great, but a great movie. Magnolia, I liked more. 8 out of 10. 1999.
Love that movie.
I love that. Punch Drunk Love, one of my favorite
That's
movies
great.
of all time.
And the first time you realize, wait a minute,
Adam Sandler.
why can't Adam Sandler do more of this?
Yeah, God. 10 out of 10. I gave Punch Drunk Love. There Will Be Blood. 10 out of 10.
Oh my God, that's so epic.
So he did. I don't know if that's ever for me where a director writer has done 2 back-to-back 10 out of 10s for me.
Right.
But then he did The Master, which I gave 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair. I would give it a 7 too. But it was very entertaining.
Inherent Vice. That's the movie.
That's
you haven't seen that one?
I haven't seen that one. No.
So I gave it a 2 out of 10. Now,
So
I
it
know
would be a dud.
there are people who really like this movie, who consider it to be like
Yeah.
sophisticated and interesting. And I'm here to tell you that what are you guys on? Because
I want to watch it. What if I'm one of those people?
please. I mean, each scene, I will say, is interesting. Like it's a series of scenes.
Yeah.
And each scene, I'm like, okay, I'm compelled to watch. But as we were going through the movie, I was like, how do these scenes fit together and like what's happening? And I know it's actually based on a book. And I think if you've read the book, you get like the style or the story, or I don't know. But all I can say is like, if I am working really fucking hard to like watch a movie, I don't want to watch it. You know?
See.
And I'm someone who likes Inception and
Yeah.
movies that take a little bit of brain power. Even The Master, I loved The Master because The Master isn't trying to tell me anything. It's just like portraying. I knew what it was trying to do.
It's a character study. It's so interesting.
And I think that's what Inherent Vice is as well.
Okay.
But I did not. It seemed. Anyway, I didn't like it.
I'll watch it and let you know.
Phantom Thread, 8 out of 10. Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro. I predict he's going to win the director. I think he's going to win director and picture. By the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's just my guess.
So you and I are rarely extremely like we'll vary. So there's some movies where you'll give it a 6, and I'm like, what? That was an 8 for me.
Yeah.
But rarely,
Yeah.
is there a movie you hated and I loved.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah. So I see Inherent Vice. So
Okay.
I'd love to hear your opinion. I mean, maybe I didn't give it enough chance. I don't know. I would love to enjoy it.
Like,
So
whereas
someone can help me enjoy it.
Me and my friend Eric frequently have movies like Mother that are extremely polarized.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw Mother, I was like, I'm guessing no one's gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take a break. When we get back, let's continue. All right, we're back from the break. If you haven't become a patron of the podcast, do so now. Why should people become a patron of the podcast, Berto?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, becoming a patron of the podcast means that you get to contribute to us making more amazing episodes for you guys. That means my buddy here, Kirk, does a ton of research on deep dive topics where he spends hours and hours and hours doing the hard work so you don't have to, and then goes deep on those topics. The other thing is you get swag. Swag is always fun. You get to tell us what you want to talk about, what you want us to talk about. You get to write us emails. We prioritize emails and comments that you guys send our way. You're also contributing to very important causes that we donate to. And so there's lots of benefits,
including petfinder.com and Pet Finder Foundation, which we donated $2,000 to recently.
That's right.
Because people have become patrons of the podcast. That was your money, not my money. So thank you so much. All right. Guillermo del Toro, Shape of Water. I predict he's going to win Best Director.
Interesting.
He's made some early stuff that I don't know about, but then he made Blade 2 in 2002. Hellboy in 2004, which I gave 6 out of 10. Did you like the first Hellboy?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Pan's Labyrinth, though. That's
which
you haven't seen it?
Still haven't seen it.
That's my favorite of his. 2006, 8 out of 10. If I saw that today, I don't know how I'd feel about it, but in 2006, that was a very unique cinematic experience.
But that's why I've always felt with him that the best thing about him was the visuals.
Yeah.
And now I never, even with Hellboy and even with what was the one before Hellboy?
Is it Pan's Labyrinth?
No.
Oh,
the other
Blade
one
2.
Yeah. So Blade 2 and stuff. I've never been like, wow, these are amazing stories. I've always thought, wow, what an amazing visual experience.
Yeah, totally. Hellboy 2, I actually liked Hellboy 2 better than like Hellboy 1. 7 out of 10. Pacific Rim, lots of early sort of mediocre reviews. Now everyone loves Pacific Rim all of a sudden.
Revisionist.
I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was enjoyable.
I would say 6 is right. I fell asleep in the middle.
It's a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not amazing. It's no Pan's Labyrinth, let's just put it that way. Crimson Peak, which I did not see because it didn't look like it appealed to me.
What's that about?
It's about you. I'm sure you saw the previews. It's like a gothic haunted house, and a woman enters, and like things start to happen, but it's like in Guillermo del Toro way. How do you say his name in your accent?
Guillermo del Toro.
And Shape of Water, 7 out of 10. Okay, there were many directors who I think were snubbed. Michael Showalter for The Big Sick. You might remember him from Wet Hot American Summer. Coco, the director, should have been nominated. Mm-hmm. I kind of also think that James Franco should have been nominated for Disaster Artist.
Yeah, totally.
Darren Aronofsky.
Did he not win a Golden Globe?
Pretty sure he did.
Yeah.
Darren Aronofsky for Mother should have been.
Oh my God, absolutely.
That movie was all director. I mean, J-Law and Darren Aronofsky. J-Law should have been nominated for Best Actress.
I think, what's his name? Bardem should have been nominated.
Sure, but mainly this movie to me was J-Law and Darren Aronofsky.
I don't disagree. It's just that I actually saw, I don't know how much of it was the writing and the direction, but Bardem actually embodied what I felt was a somewhat like a sympathetic,
totally
godlike character. And
I thought J-Law was the character that we identified with, right? And I was with her. And didn't she like blow a gasket when she was acting during that one scene? Like, did you hear that? Like in real life. Like,
I didn't. Oh no, I don't know this.
I think she like burst a blood vessel in her eye when she was giving birth because she was screaming so much.
Man,
and like talk about acting.
Yeah, it's a little too much acting.
Your ass off. I mean, no love for that movie at all.
No love.
It just
because it's so weird, right? People are like, that's weird. That's abstract. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, to me, on one hand, I kind of like that because I feel like I'm a Darren Aronofsky hipster.
Yeah.
Because I like The Fountain.
Yeah.
I liked Noah. I know no one else likes those, or very few people like those, or have even seen them. You know what I mean? Denis Villeneuve from Blade Runner 2049 should have been nominated.
That's right. Blade Runner got no love.
Yeah, well, a little bit later on, but
okay.
Taika Waititi should have got nominated for Thor Ragnarok. Maybe, I don't know. War of the Planet of the Apes, Matt Reeves. War of the Planet of the Apes. That whole series is amazing.
Amazing. I didn't see the last one, but
it's a great.
I've heard only good.
It's
things.
a great ending. Yeah,
and I mean that was a series. Talk about like a series that had just been rebooted.
Yeah,
with what's his name? It's Marky Mark. Remember?
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, not again. Really? Again?
Well, that's because that one was so bad.
But even if it had been decent, or even less so, like you were thinking, wait a minute, who needs more Planet of the Apes at this point?
Yeah.
And yet they take this fresh approach.
Yeah.
That first movie was so good.
I think it's 4. I think it's 4 movies in total.
Yeah. Because the first one wasn't even. It was the prequel. It was
those 4 movies are 4 of the best, like non-cheesy, well put together. You really feel like in this last one, War for the Planet of the Apes, it really focuses on the apes.
Am I wrong? Like, is the first one called Planet of the Apes?
I don't remember.
I thought that they did this thing where the movie was marketed as just this movie about this, but then you realize towards the end, oh my God, is this part of? But I don't remember what it was called. If it was,
I don't remember.
Okay,
but in this 4th movie, they focused mostly on the apes.
Yeah,
and these are people who are dressed up in capture things, and then some animator had to animate these faces, and the voice actors had to say things in such a way that it would all come together. And man, does it come together. I mean, it is so believable.
Yeah.
They zoom in on these apes' faces and it's the whole screen is just eyes, nose, and mouth, and
It's completely. You're
it's so believable. I mean, it is amazing, and that's all director to me. Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman, I guess, could have been nominated. I mean, to me, if I could have chosen, I would not have had Christopher Nolan, maybe. Definitely Jordan Peele. Definitely Greta Gerwig. I guess definitely P.T. Anderson.
But you scooch Spielberg out of there.
Well, Spielberg isn't. So we're on Best Director right now.
Oh.
But if I went Best Picture, for sure, I would have got rid of Spielberg and I, Tonya, and I would have put Mother and The Big Sick.
Yeah.
That's what anyway.
Wow.
Okay, so lead actor, we have Timothée Chalamet from Call Me by Your Name. He's been in a few things. He was in Lady Bird, actually, interestingly, as sort of a anyway. He is amazing in this. The fact, if he is straight, Timothée Chalamet is the best actor who has ever lived. Because I'm not saying like, oh my God, I can't believe a straight guy is acting gay. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I believed that Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer were in love.
Okay.
Like, I didn't just believe like, wow, that's pretty brave of him to play a gay guy. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like the love energy that these, particularly Timothée Chalamet, this young kid, manages to produce in front of a camera.
Right.
Is
like Jamie Foxx and Damon Wayans in Living Color.
I felt this thing, man. And arguably without that, this movie would be nothing. You know, it'd just be like, you know.
Oh, it wasn't Jamie Foxx. It was the other guy. Remember the two snaps and a what was the other? It was Damon Wayans and
what's his face?
He always played the straighter characters a little bit.
Yeah, David Alan Grier.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Phantom Thread nominated. He has Oscars for My Left Foot, There Will Be Blood, and Lincoln. He's the only male actor in history to have 3 wins in that lead actor category. Wow. So if he wins for this one, which I don't think he will, but if he does, I'd be happy because he does an amazing job in this.
So Tom Hanks had only 2?
I don't know.
Because he had Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out got nominated. He's from Sicario and the Black Mirror episode 15 Million Merits. I thought Daniel Kaluuya was pretty good in this, but I wouldn't. To me, I think there are other actors who could have been nominated. I don't know who though. Anyway, Gary Oldman, Darkest Hour, playing. He's playing Winston Churchill. Right. I'm predicting he's going to win because when you think about because you think Timothée Chalamet, how many people actually saw Call Me by Your Name? I don't think many people did.
I mean, has Gary Oldman won before?
Which I don't think he has.
Because he's amazing in roles that really leverage him properly.
Yeah,
he's one of the best.
No. I have been on record as saying he in the 90s and early aughts, he was my favorite actor of all time.
Amazing.
I would tell people, oh my God, Gary Oldman is in this movie. And people are like, who's Gary Oldman? I'd be, he's the best actor who has ever lived.
Well, one of the things is a lot of people would see him in roles and he actually was so different.
Yeah.
Like he was Oswald.
Well, so I'm going to go through.
Okay.
So the first movie, so I'm just listing the movies that I really remember him from. He's been in so many movies. But the first movie I saw him in is in '86, Sid and Nancy. He plays Sid
right.
Vicious. Yeah.
Did an amazing job in that.
Amazing. He is so convincingly Sid Vicious in that movie. And Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. He plays Rosencrantz.
Yes. And it's such a funny movie. Oh my God.
But the movie I fell in love with him really was 1990 State of Grace.
Which I've never seen.
With Sean Penn.
He
plays, it's sort of a Irish gangster movie. It's pretty good. I think it holds up. Henry and June, he was in that movie. He was in JFK. He plays Lee Harvey Oswald.
And did an amazing job.
Right. Like you
nearly unrecognizable.
Right. You just thought that's Lee Harvey Oswald. Yes. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, so good.
Francis Ford Coppola. He plays Count Dracula. True Romance.
Right.
He plays Drexel Spivey. or Spivvy.
Spivvy.
He's the Rasta guy.
Yeah.
Romeo is Bleeding. Leon, the professional. He plays a cop in that movie.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like the evil. He's
Okay.
like popping pills.
So I didn't remember.
Immortal Beloved. He plays.
Oh, of course I remember that.
Ludwig van Beethoven.
Yes, amazing.
Amazing movie. Basquiat. He's in that movie, which is great. The Fifth Element. He plays
so good.
Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg. Air Force One. He's in that. Harry Potter. He's Sirius Black.
Sirius Black. I mean, so good.
And the Batman movies. He was Commissioner Gordon.
Which again, like I forgot about. Like you forget these roles because he just becomes those people.
So what's interesting is that since so really the Fifth Element, 1997, was the last Gary Oldman-y movie I'd seen him in. You know, where he could really be Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
You know, because Harry Potter, Sirius Black, it's like
he's a side character, but he's great.
He's fine, but I wouldn't say it really let Oldman do Oldman.
Sure.
And then Batman Begins is like
superhero character.
Yeah, but he plays an excellent Commissioner Gordon, but the character is supposed to be subdued and sort of powerless. And so when I reviewed his movies, it was like I haven't seen him do anything super Oldman-y in
a powerful role
in 20 years. Until Darkest Hour,
right?
He nails this.
So hopefully he wins.
So I went to when I was in London, I went to the Winston Churchill Museum, which takes place in the physical place where this whole movie takes place, which is in this bunker in the heart of London, where basically they would run the entire military operations and government operations, you know, because of the bombing and stuff. Anyway. Denzel Washington is the last one. He's nominated for Roman J. Israel Esquire. This is one of the only Oscar movies I haven't seen yet. I'm going to try to see it before the Oscars actually happen. Denzel has won for 2 Academy Awards. He's won for Best Supporting Actor in Glory in the 89 and Best Actor for Training Day. This is the one movie you and I really disagree on.
Oh, yeah, right.
So you love Training Day.
Love it.
Like out of 10 stars. 10
no, but I'd give it at least an 8.
Yeah. I think I'd give it like a 3. Like this movie, the first half an hour, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. and then it just progressively gets more and more ridiculous.
And this is another one that's highly rewatchable for me.
And loved. Everyone loves this movie. And I like other movies that guy made. But anyway, Denzel Washington, he's been in so many things, but just to list some of the movies that I've loved. Glory, Mo Better Blues, Mississippi Masala, Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Much Ado About Nothing, The Pelican Brief, Philadelphia, Crimson Tide, Virtuosity, Devil in a Blue Dress, He Got Game, Remember the Titans, Training Day, Inside Man, another Spike Lee movie, like a more straight up.
By the way, movie. I loved He Got Game when I saw it.
Yeah,
but I watched it recently.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't like how Spike Lee cuts movies.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's him editing them, but I don't like it. And when I watched it recently, I'm like, man, this is fairly disjoint after the first 30%.
Yeah.
But it is entertaining because it's got Ray Allen, whatever his name is, and it's
Ray Allen.
And I love basketball, and so it's like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. American Gangster. Have you seen that Ridley Scott movie?
No, that's supposed to be amazing, right?
Dude, you got to see American Gangster.
Okay.
Yeah. Book of Eli, which I didn't really like that much. Where he plays blind Zatoichi.
Wait,
basically.
did you mention? Wait.
Unstoppable, Safe House, Flight.
You Crimson Tide was with what's his name? Lex Luthor.
Tony Scott. Yeah, right? With Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
Flight, which my God, he was amazing in Flight. He should have won the Oscar for that. Have you seen Flight?
No.
It's so good. Like
isn't he like a pilot in that?
And
one?
an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And it's just so good.
Okay.
The Equalizer. What a terrible movie. I went to the theater or I saw this in a hotel room once or something. It is like the cheesiest, dumbest movie.
And he was in the one that we loved, the
Fences.
And
Magnificent Seven last year as well, which I thought was okay.
Was he not? He was nominated for Fences, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! See,
He was nominated. He didn't win, but
That
he
was
also
an amazing performance.
He also directed and produced that. He
Yeah.
directed, produced,
It's
and
crazy.
acted. I recently rewatched that movie. Excellent, just
so good.
and talk about a tour de force for acting.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And that preview never did it justice because I remember not wanting to see it from the preview.
Right.
'Cause
Well, I don't know how you make a preview for that movie to make it, interesting, or to make you go, because it's like,
yeah, I guess so. But
what
it just
scenes do you pull?
But it just had this. I thought the whole movie was gonna be him fighting with the sun the whole time with the sun.
Right. I
And
think
there was so much more subtle to it. Like there was so
right.
much.
I think the marketers were like, we gotta have something in here to show. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and that's what they show. Okay, lead actor. So I think that Gary Oldman will win because I don't think Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out is going to win. Daniel Day-Lewis might win. Timothy Chalamet, I think, is too young, and I don't think enough people have seen that movie. And I don't think enough people think Denzel Washington deserves an Oscar for this particular movie. If they don't give him for Fences, then I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to give it for this movie. Okay, lead actress, Sally Hawkins is her name, forgotten. She's been on a lot of stuff, but I didn't see any of it. So to me, I think this is the first Sally Hawkins thing I've ever seen. Frances McDormand from 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I predict Frances McDormand is going to win.
I really like her.
Just a guess. She is amazing in 3 Billboards.
Is she?
Yeah, I mean she carries 70 to 90% of the movie.
She was the only thing I liked about Fargo.
It's sort of like. It's sort of in that direction of Fargo, It's like she's so great. I mean, Burn After Reading, she's so great.
Yeah, that's true.
Just to again name a bunch of movies that Frances McDormand's been in that I love. Blood Simple is the first one, a Coen movie. Coen Brothers Lover.
Yeah.
Raising Arizona, Mississippi Burning, Miller's Crossing, Darkman. Aren't you a Darkman fan?
No, but it was fine.
Okay. Barton Fink. Shortcuts, The Hudsucker Proxy, Fargo,
she was in that right.
Almost Famous, The Man Who Wasn't There, another Coen brother.
Yeah.
North Country, Aeon Flux. Did you ever see Aeon Flux?
No, I haven't seen it.
It is it's interesting.
Isn't Charlie's in that or
huh?
no? Who's that girl?
Yeah, Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron?
Yeah,
Okay.
she actually broke her back doing stunts for that movie. Yeah. Burn After Reading, Transformers, Moonrise Kingdom. She was great in that.
Oh, right.
The Good Dinosaur, which I don't feel like gets enough love.
That was a good movie too.
Hail Caesar, 3 Billboards, and she's also in Isle of Dogs.
Oh.
Okay, Margot Robbie or Robbie, I, Tonya. She, again, I thought she did a great job. And if she gets the Oscar, I think Sally Hawkins has a good shot at this Oscar. I think Frances McDormand probably has it on lock. Margot Robbie, I think, could absolutely.
She was one
get
of the only things, one of the very few things about the Suicide Squad that was entertaining.
Yeah, I thought Will Smith was actually pretty good too.
Her and Will Smith. I mean, Will Smith is generally enjoyable, even though he hasn't done great movies recently.
Have you seen that Netflix movie that they made about orcs being cops and stuff yet?
No.
I heard it's terrible.
And that's the thing. I always enjoy him, but I feel like he hasn't been properly utilized lately.
No. So the first thing I saw her in was Wolf of Wall Street. She was great in that.
Oh, so good. So good.
She was in Z for Zachariah, which you haven't seen yet. It's 3 people after an apocalypse. I think you should see it. It's pretty good. Z for Zachariah. She was in The Big Short very briefly.
Yeah, that one actually, it's not her fault, but that was one of the things I didn't like about that movie is I felt like it detracted from their story to use that style of interjecting these little break the fourth wall.
Plus, I during that time listened to This American Life, and they did a whole series of episodes on the economic crisis at the time. They sort of took it on to be like, we're going to do in-depth reporting, unbiased.
Right.
We're going to really look into this. We're going to interview experts. We're going to, and they did a very nuanced piece on does this mean the end of our economy? Right. Should the government step in? All the kind of thing. Why did this happen? And I remember after listening to all those podcasts, I had kind of a grasp. In fact, one time you, me, and Mitch were in his kitchen trying to be quiet because Rory was sleeping. And we were all arguing about why the economy was crashing because it was right around that time. And I had a bunch of answers. You were blaming it on the Federal Reserve.
Sure.
And I was bringing it, and I said, well, that's a point, but actually a bigger reason is what The Big Short is all
Credit
about.
default swaps.
Yeah. And I was bringing that up, and you hadn't really heard of it yet.
No, not yet.
Because I had been listening to these podcasts. Do you remember that argument?
I briefly, or I loosely do. I don't remember the details, but yes.
Anyway, so I have a very layman's, somewhat informed understanding of the credit default swaps and how that whole thing went down,
right?
And why it led to the crash and some banks going belly up and how everyone lost so much money. And when I watched The Big Short, her scenes were designed to explain it in a simple manner to the audience. So they're trying to sum up, basically 5 hours of This American Life episode into like this entertaining little bit. And what I thought they did is they made it more confusing.
Yeah.
The way she described it was this very twisted metaphor.
Yeah, it didn't work.
That did not actually, there's actually an easy way of describing it, but that was not it.
That was not it.
Yeah.
And it also, like, they actually underused our boy, Christian Bale, because he played a great character.
Yeah.
And how much it was the real one or not, it doesn't matter. He played a great character. And his part in the movie was sort of underutilized, and instead they added all these extra little cutesy scenes.
Yeah, I thought it was just really overly cutesy. I mean, Adam McKay, right? So I thought it was just a lot. I think they really wanted to make it entertaining and like, aren't these characters interesting? They made Michael Scott. What's his real name? Anyway, they made his character. Like he goes to group therapy and he's talking on his phone and everyone in the audience is laughing like, oh, like, look at him. He's really giving it to him. He's really annoying that therapist who's trying to earn her living. You know what I mean? It's like, he's a total asshole. Like you're trying to make him sympathetic. He's a dick.
Yeah. In some ways it definitely not their intention. And I'm not even saying they fully did this, but there was a little bit of glorification to the mess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and then Brad Pitt comes in and, anyway.
Yeah.
The movie was fine. I probably gave it like six.
But speaking of Margot Robbie, it was not her fault. She did fine in that scene.
She's also in Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, which I did not see. Got kind of mixed reviews. She was in a movie called... She was Jane in The Legend of Tarzan, which came out last year.
What?
Yeah.
I never even heard of this.
I must have been straight to DVD. Suicide Squad, and then I, Tonya.
Are you telling me Margot Robbie was in a Jane costume last year and I missed it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Saoirse Ronan, Lady Bird. I remember her from Atonement in 2007. Great movie. She was in Arete. She like in the English American version of that Japanese anime movie. She's in The Way Back, which is a pretty cool movie about these prisoners in the Russian gulags or something, and they escape and they have to hike basically across Russia.
Oh my God.
to get out, to get to safety, and it's a really great movie. She was in Hannah. She plays Hannah, the young Hannah. Grand Budapest Hotel. That's what the first movie I remember her as like an older kind of adult. She was in Brooklyn. Amazing movie, Brooklyn. I loved that movie. I think I gave that 9 out of 10 when it came out. Lady Bird, and then next year she's in a movie where she plays Mary Queen of Scots in a movie called Mary Queen of Scots.
Oh wow!
Which is interesting because when I was in London, I saw Mary Queen of Scots. Her sarcophagus or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, so Saoirse Ronan, if she wins, I'd absolutely be cool with that. Margot Robbie, yeah, fine. Sally Hawkins, totally fine. Frances Dorman, hope she wins. And then we have Meryl Streep, who got nominated again. She is one for Kramer versus Kramer, Sophie's Choice, and The Iron Lady, which I really liked. Did you see Iron Lady?
She played.
She plays what's her face?
Yeah, the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Thatcher, Margaret Thatcher. Didn't
they like sort of glorify her a bit?
Yeah. So, but they're gonna do that. But they also portray. her, history interestingly. I really liked it. They try to tell her entire life in one movie.
It's like they've definitely like I don't know if this is a bad term nowadays, but they've whitewashed a lot of British history with making it look, they're very noble and they're very, but they were as colonialist as it comes,
Right. I mean, she was, and I can't remember how responsible they were with that, but they did the best part about the Iron Lady was at the end or interspersed throughout when she's old and retired.
Okay.
And she has Alzheimer's.
Oh, really? I didn't know
And they portray that whole thing like just really interestingly, I thought, anyway.
To be honest,
and I thought
I don't know her history.
She was great.
I should have watched it. It should. Yeah, I'll try to watch it. It's interesting. History's interesting.
I mean, the thing about politicians during this time is part of their actions were self-motivated.
Yeah.
But most of their actions were dominated by the public will.
Yeah.
It's not like these were rogue politicians doing what the people didn't want. I mean, Thatcher and Reagan were extremely popular individuals in the 80s, and their jingoism and their colonialism were welcomed by the constituents. Yeah. So, you can blame them for sure, but you got to also include the people who voted for them so many freaking times, And, the English people don't vote for their prime minister, but directly the way that we do for Ronald Reagan. But anyway, so nominations for Meryl Streep. I just want to name just some because she's been nominated 21 times, but the ones that I know: The French Lieutenant's Woman, Silkwood, Out of Africa, Ironweed, Evil Angels, Postcards from the Edge, The Bridges of Madison County. She's amazing in that. One True Thing, Music of the Heart, Adaptation. She's great in Adaptation.
Oh, I love that movie.
Devil Wears Prada, Doubt, great movie, Doubt. Julie and Julia, August Osage County, which I still haven't seen, which is weird because it's like about a family and I should see it. Into the Woods, which I also haven't seen because I'm not really into those kinds of musicals.
I love that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Florence Foster Jenkins. Is that the one where she's like a rock star?
Is it?
Anyway.
Oh, by the way, because like Into the Woods, I remember many, many years ago, someone brought over a VHS tape to my place. That's how many years ago this was. And we got to watch this. And I'm like, okay, what is this? It's Into the Woods. You've seen it, right? We should watch it again. I'm like, I've never even heard this. What? It was one of those things. And then we pop it in, and it was like this. It wasn't like a budget movie, like a Hollywood movie. It was a stage production filmed.
Oh, no.
And I'm sitting there, we're watching this. Dude, it was so entertaining. Because it was like this satirical take on all these famous Grimm stories.
Yeah.
It was so entertaining. So I was like, wow, this is a pleasant surprise. So when the movie came out, I really wanted to see it, and I was not disappointed.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, let's take a break. When we get back, let's talk about the women who were snubbed for Best Actress. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, we're back from the break. The women who were snubbed, I think J-Law was snubbed. I'm just going to say it. She should have been nominated for Best Actress.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm with you.
I mean, Meryl Streep doesn't need yet another nomination. Plus, I do not think that her in The Post was Oscar worthy. I mean, she did a journeyman's job. She showed up. She did it.
Yeah,
and it's convincing.
Yeah,
but in terms of like acting, I wouldn't consider it like Oscar worthy.
Right.
Jennifer Lawrence in Mother, whether you like the movie or not, I don't know. You have to agree.
No, a lot. I mean, I loved it, and I loved her. But a lot of people I heard were like, she's just like, these are like just close-ups of her face, and she's just like looking confused the whole movie. And I was like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because my experience is so opposite. Like you, I was totally carried with her. Like she carried me through the movie. Yeah. And I totally empathized with her situation.
Yeah.
I felt her confusion.
Yeah.
I felt her pain, her anguish, her loss. I was like, oh my God.
Another movie, Ingrid Goes West. I thought Aubrey Plaza could have been nominated. I mean, I don't know who I would have bumped other than Meryl Streep for Aubrey Plaza for Ingrid Goes West, but I thought Aubrey Plaza was just amazing in Ingrid Goes West. It was a complicated character, and I thought she did really well. All right, supporting actor Willem Dafoe in The Florida Project. Have you seen this?
I know what it is. Isn't this year's Moonlight?
Kind of in tone, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Willem Dafoe is another one of those. Is one of my favorites.
Yeah, and he plays a very interesting character in this. He is the only noticeable actor in this. He's the only known. In fact, the lead woman in the Florida Project, the director found her on Instagram.
Okay.
And thought she
Really?
looked, and she wasn't even an actress.
Okay.
She was just a woman who has
Looked the right way.
has a lot of tattoos, like a
Okay.
lot of tattoos. And she's like, okay, I think, would you like to be in this new movie? And it shows because the movie is it's like Moonlight in that there doesn't seem to really be a script. It's
Yeah.
more just like scenes. And basically the whole movie takes place in this hotel in Florida. And it's, a lot of poor people living just day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And these kids they become friends and they basically just kind of roam the neighborhood having fun. Okay. And there's no plot, but it's interesting. I gave it 7 out of 10. Just a wonderfully shot movie. You could really tell like these are not actors playing these parts except for Willem Dafoe. Did I think he deserved an Oscar nomination for this movie? No. I mean, he's fine, but I think this was a nod because they're like, well, we're not nominating Florida Project for anything else, so we got to nominate it for something because it is an amazing movie. Willem Dafoe nominated. What movies do you remember him from?
American Psycho, baby.
Yeah. What else?
Well, he was in The Last Temptation of Christ, of course.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite Scorsese movies.
He's just crazy, man.
Platoon,
Platoon,
which he was nominated for and didn't.
He's the Green Goblin.
Yeah. Born on the 4th of July, Wild at Heart, English Patient, Existenz, Boondock Saints.
But by the way, till this day, I still haven't seen The English Patient.
You're not missing much.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that one was a highly acclaimed Oscar winner.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine, but you're not missing much. The Life Aquatic.
Right.
The Aviator, Fantastic Mr. Fox. John Carter, which I liked. I like John Carter.
I haven't seen. That's the Mars one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Everyone hated it, but I thought it was watchable. Just like I liked the
space one recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah. Out of the Furnace, Grand Budapest Hotel, John Wick, and The Great Wall. I've seen The Great Wall yet.
No, I haven't. That's with Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Okay. It's historically accurate, right? With the dragons?
Yeah. I mean, it's a movie made for Chinese people.
Okay.
And what I understand is, they have a major Hollywood market in China. And what I understand is that the Chinese money market is big on stars, and they like some American stars. And so if you can get an big American star,
that's a big deal
in a movie, then it's going to drive up sales. And so this movie was not made for Americans. Is the thing. So when you watch it, it's like, if you don't like it, then you're not to me, the movie was Transformers for Chinese people.
Okay. All right.
It's like flashy and explosions and,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards. I don't understand why he was nominated. Maybe they just didn't have anyone else that they could pull from. But we remember him from Cheers, from White Man Can't Jump, which is one of your favorite movies.
One of my favorite movies.
Indecent Proposal, Natural Born Killers, The People versus Larry Flint, Kingpin, Thin Red Line, North Country, Scanner Darkly, Prairie Home Companion, which I love.
He's done a lot of awesome stuff.
Yeah,
actually.
No Country for Old Men, amazing. Battle in Seattle, which I forgot he was in. Semi-Pro, which is amazing. Trans-Siberian, another great movie. Actually, all these movies are great. I mean, every single movie I've read so far is like, 7 or higher.
Woody does a great job in everything he does.
Zombieland, Hunger Games, 7 Psychopaths. Now You See Me. Now that is a shitty movie.
Wait a minute. But did you see Now You See Me 2?
Both shitty. I think they're just trolling like watchers now. Out of the Furnace, great. LBJ. Just watched that today. Actually, he plays Lyndon B. Johnson in LBJ. And again, if you like history, I think LBJ is fine. War for Planet of the Apes, amazing in that. In fact, that's what he should have been nominated for.
For War of the Planet.
Yeah. And he's in the Han Solo movie.
Oh, I think I knew that. Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
Richard Jenkins is also nominated for Shape of Water. He has been in so many movies. Silverado, Hannah and Her Sisters is one of my favorite Woody Allen movies. Witches of Eastwick, There's Something About Mary. Snow Falling on Cedars, which I don't remember him being in, but that's about the Japanese-American experience, told from a white person's perspective, as usual. Me, Myself, and Irene, I Heart Huckabees, Step Brothers, he's the dad in Step Brothers. Burn After Reading, he's the Cabin in the Woods. Killing Them Softly, great movie, Killing Them Softly. Jack Reacher, hated that movie. White House Down, blah. Turbo, the cartoon, love that movie. Spotlight, great. And Kong Skull Island.
I didn't see that one.
It's okay. It's entertaining. Christopher Plummer, All the Money in the World, have not seen this movie.
This is the one where he got replaced at the last second. Or,
Right.
he replaced Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, why?
Because of the scandals.
Yeah.
And, it was... what a bold... This is Ridley Scott, right?
I don't know.
It was such a bold move. Like, at the last second, like, okay, I'm going to reshoot.
Yeah. Yeah, and pulled it off, right?
Well, but, Christopher Plummer is, like,
yeah,
one of the greats. So, I want to see that movie.
What movies do you remember him from?
The Sound of Music, of course.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be the only movie. No, that's not true.
No, once I start saying, you'll remember him. He's been in so many things. By the time, even around before The Sound of Music, he'd been in a bunch of things. Star Trek 6, he plays like a Klingon.
Which one is Star Trek 6? Is that the Quest for Peace or whatever?
The Undiscovered Country. He plays General Chang. He was in Malcolm X, which I don't remember him being in. He was in 12 Monkeys. He was in The Insider, Beautiful Mind.
Right.
Alexander, he plays Aristotle. Syriana, which I still haven't seen. By
the way, I didn't like Alexander, but still.
No, Alexander's terrible movie. Inside Man.
Oh, you haven't seen Syriana?
I know, we keep talking about it.
Okay.
He was in Up. He was in 9. Have you seen the cartoon 9? Or Stop Animation 9?
Whoa.
Do you know this movie?
He was in Up?
Yeah. He was Charles Muntz.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. He plays Dr. Parnassus. That's the one where Heath Ledger died like halfway through, and then all these other people play. He was in Beginners, which is my favorite movie that he's been in. Have you seen this?
No.
Really great movie. It's with Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
And it's based on a book by someone I can't remember. He was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Sam Rockwell is nominated. Who I think will win.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. For which movie?
For 3 Billboards.
Oh, for 3 Billboards.
Because there's no way that Woody Harrelson's going to win for 3 Billboards. Willem Dafoe for Florida Project. No way. Richard Jenkins, he's totally competent in Shape of Water, but it's not really an Oscar-winning performance. I haven't seen the Christopher Plummer movie. But Sam Rockwell and 3 Billboards. This is a pretty...
I think they're going to give it to Christopher Plummer.
That could be true.
For 3 very important reasons. One, it's a tour de force. It's not a major performance in the movie.
Oh, have you seen it?
No. But I know so much about the story, about how they replaced him and all these things, and what the story behind the story, like what it's about and all these things. But it's a famous historical figure. It's
what is it about? I don't even know what it's about.
Well,
anyway, go on.
Rich guy's son goes missing, and then they want to extort him, and then he's like, no. And you've seen the previews, right?
No, I haven't seen it.
Well, anyways, but the point is, he replaced Kevin Spacey.
Right. So they're sending a statement.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe. It also could be like they don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. You know what I mean? But anyway, Sam Rockwell. So you know how I said Gary Oldman was my favorite actor of the 90s and early aughts? Well, I have been on record saying that Sam Rockwell was my favorite actor during the 2000s.
Yeah, he's amazing. I don't know if he's my favorite, but he's amazing.
He was my favorite.
Okay.
I liked him before other people liked him. I'm just going to say, like, I would seek out Sam Rockwell movies because I was like,
his name.
That guy is so good. The first movie I saw him in was in 1996 called Box of Moonlight.
I've not seen that.
A great, interesting indie movie. Lawn Dogs, another indie movie. Jerry and Tom, great movie. Safe.
So I haven't seen any of those, which might explain why I didn't know about him until later.
Yeah, Safe Men, Celebrity, Woody Allen movie. The Green Mile, you might remember him from that. And then Galaxy Quest.
Yes.
Was the big movie.
But you skipped my favorite.
What?
he's the special agent.
Charlie's Angels? Confession of a Dangerous Mind?
Confession of a Dangerous Mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was after that.
Was it?
Yeah, 2002. Yeah, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind was after Galaxy Quest. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Matchstick Men, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, plays Zaphod Beeblebrots.
Wait. Hold on. Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen.
Yeah.
That Star Trek spoof.
Yeah, 1999.
Shut the F up.
Yeah.
I could have paid billions that was in the 2000s.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, I had, I hope the feds don't come after me, but I had Galaxy Quest dubbed onto another VHS tape because I didn't have cable, and so I would just sort of pop that in along with the Abyss I had on VHS.
Do you remember that documentary that came out in like 2007 or 2008 about Trekkies? It was called Trekkies, I think.
Yeah.
I might be getting, not that I'm getting the two confused, but I might be, my mind might have done this weird thing where it felt that movie, Galaxy Quest, came out around that time.
Well, I also wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't seen Galaxy Quest.
No, I saw it in the theater, dude.
Oh, okay.
I saw it in the theater and I loved it.
Okay. The Assassination of Jesse James by coward Robert Ford, which I like. Choke, he plays the lead guy in Choke.
Right.
Frost Nixon, Moon, great movie.
I forgot he was in Moon.
Iron Man 2, Cowboys and Aliens, Seven Psychopaths, great movie.
Yeah.
The Way Back, which is different from The Way Back, which I talked about earlier.
There's the one called The Way Back?
Well, The Way Back is a great
sequel?
It's a great movie. It's about a kid who goes to like a summer cabin, and he with his mom and his new stepdad, and
Wait, I know The Way Back.
yeah, and
That's the one.
And he goes to a pool.
Yeah, that's recent.
Yeah.
With our office guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we keep forgetting Michael Scott.
Dude, that's a great movie.
Yeah,
and
it's
he's the
fun guy at the pool.
guy at the pool.
Yeah. Great movie. Poltergeist, which I did
That's
not
why
see.
when you said The Way Back, I got confused because I was thinking of The Way Back.
Right.
Yes.
Mr. Right, which I saw, which is a very weird movie. He plays Mr. Right. And then Three Billboards, and then he's in a movie this coming year, called Backseat, in which he plays George W. Bush, and it's directed by Adam McKay.
Whoa.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell playing George W. Bush in a movie directed by Adam McKay. I'll tell you who got snubbed was Ray Romano from The Big Sick. Woody Harrelson should not have been nominated. Ray Romano in The Big Sick is amazing. He's similar to the rest of this movie. Ray Romano is hilarious.
Yeah. Everyone loves Ray.
Yeah. And touching, heartfelt. Like The Big Sick is a gritty, realistic movie. And at the same time, hilarious. Uh-huh. Like it's just an amazing movie. I can't talk.
Say good enough things.
Yeah. Okay. Supporting actress Mary J. Blige from Mudbound. Have you seen that? It's a Netflix movie, which is interesting to think that a Netflix movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just pure Netflix, and it's interesting. Her performance is good. So yeah, Allison Janney from I, Tonya. This is the predicted win. She plays Tonya Harding's mom.
Okay.
So in I, Tonya, basically some of the movie is treated like they're interviewing them after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have
like
The Office, like where they have these like talking head interviews.
Yeah, like Strictly Ballroom, or the Christopher.
The other Christopher.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, the docu.
Right, exactly.
Fakey dramas.
Yeah, like Best in Show. That kind of. Right. So Allison Janney plays Tonya Harding's mom, both in the real life of like dramatization and also the interview. The interview, she has a bird on her shoulder, and while in every interview, it's just this from this one interview, and there's this bird on her shoulder. At the end of the movie, during the credits, they show, actual like footage of interviews of these people, and it's uncanny.
Oh, really?
How they reproduced. Because when you're watching the movie, you're like, oh, that's probably played up for laughs. You know, she
Yeah.
has a bird on her shoulder. That's ridiculous. They show interviews from that time of
it's
her
like
being
that.
interviewed, and it looks even funnier in real life. Like it is bizarre.
Well, speaking of that, James freaking Franco, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Like just, beat to beat total recreation.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Allison Janney, she's been in The Ice Storm, Primary Colors, Celebrity, 10 Things I Hate About You, American Beauty, Over the Hedge, which was a cartoon, which I liked, Juno, The Help, The Way, Way Back, Spy, great movie, Minions, The Girl on the Train, I, Tonya, and many other things.
Do you think by the way, they snubbed James Franco at this point because there was those allegations
Yeah,
after them?
yeah, too much toxicity around that.
Yeah.
Leslie Manville from Phantom Thread, she's been nominated. She was great. She's been in a lot of stuff, but nothing I've seen. Laurie Metcalf from Lady Bird. This is my hoped win because she plays the mom.
Mm-hmm.
The whole movie Lady Bird is about mom and daughter.
Yeah.
Daughter is, I think a senior in high school. It's
Isn't it about like this guy who used to play the superhero character and then he goes flying around the town?
Exactly. And Laurie Metcalf so Laurie Metcalf and Saoirse Ronan are just amazing in this movie. You might remember her from Jackie from Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
But she was also
Oh,
yeah.
wow!
Yeah.
I used to love her character on.
Yeah, but when you think about her character, you don't think, oh, that actress is amazing.
No.
You just think,
and I haven't seen her.
right? Well, so she's been in a bunch of things,
Yeah.
but she was in Uncle Buck. She was in Desperately Seeking Susan, which she was in Leaving Las Vegas and
Wow.
But the one thing you probably do remember her from was she was the mom in the Toy Story movies.
Oh, okay, but I didn't know that.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Octavia Spencer nominated for The Shape of Water. I don't understand why she got nominated for this. I mean, she's great, but
Right. This is supporting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was an actress and she did
She supported.
She did her job, but I wouldn't call it like Oscar worthy. She was in Being John Malkovich, Big Mama's House,
Malkovich.
Spider-Man, SWAT, Bad Santa, Coach Carter, Beauty Shop, The Soloist, great movie, The Help, which she won for Best Supporting Actress, Fruitvale Station, Snowpiercer, blah, the Divergent series, blah, Zootopia, yay, Bad Santa 2, haven't seen, Hidden Figures, which she was nominated for Best Supporting and didn't win. Okay.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So this is a black person?
Yeah.
Oh, so this isn't the main gal in Shape of Water.
No, she
Okay.
she was nominated for Best Actress.
Okay, got it.
Octavia Spencer
I
was
see.
named for okay. So I'm just gonna rattle through the rest of these and then we'll say goodbye. Animated feature nominations: Boss Baby,
Yay.
which I liked, as we talked about. The Breadwinner, which I haven't seen. Coco,
Coco, yay.
which I hope and predict will win. Ferdinand, which I haven't seen because I didn't look like it would appeal to me. Have you seen
It's
Ferdinand?
based on the bull story. It's based on a
Is it good?
children's story.
Is
I
it
haven't
good?
seen it.
Oh, and Loving Vincent, which I haven't seen. And to me, I'm like, no Lego Batman? Are you kidding me?
Right, that's an outrage.
Lego Batman is arguably even better than Coco in some
Oh
respects.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know artistically or what, because Coco was artistically very beautiful, but how entertaining can a movie be?
Yeah. I liked it way better than the first Lego movie.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I liked the first Lego
Yeah.
movie.
But this one upped it.
Lego Batman, I was laughing from beginning to end.
so good.
I had to watch it a second time because I missed jokes.
Oh, it's so many references.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they go by like this.
Yeah, and it's a great screenplay.
Yeah.
With a message.
It's a good story. It's the whole thing.
And believable. I mean, the character between you have Robin, you have Batman, and then you have the woman mayor or the woman commissioner who takes over for Commissioner Gordon.
He shows up at the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Like, you'll understand. And then it's like, oh, hey, Batman. And they're having a party.
Yeah.
Weren't the Wonder Twins there? Like, it's like...
Yeah. They were all there.
Everyone. Even
Woman-
some of those, like... Because I used to love the Justice League and all this stuff. And remember how they would add... The guy the Native American guy would grow.
Oh, yeah.
And then they had the Hawkeye or not Hawkeye, Hawkman. And they had the Green Lantern, but they also had the Flash. And then it would grow and grow and grow. And after a while, they had some random ones that you'd only see like once.
Shape of a bucket of water. Adapted screenplay. Following got nominated. Call Me by Your Name. The Disaster Artist. So that got
for
nominated.
what category?
Adapted screenplay for writing. Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound. I have not seen Molly's Game yet. I think I heard that Molly's Game is predicted to win. Aaron Sorkin.
You know, it's funny with Logan because, of course, I love the movie.
Yeah.
But it's very different from the graphic novel.
Interesting.
So I don't know how they judge best.
They don't give an Oscar to the most accurate adapted screenplay. It's just like
based on.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of interesting that they even. I think they separate them out because they're like, well, yeah, you didn't write the original story. So.
I see.
Original screenplay, we have The Big Sick, Get Out, Lady Bird, Shape of Water, and Three Billboards. I predict that Get Out will win because I think there's a lot of energy around Get Out,
and it's. I mean, you talk about original.
yeah, it's a great screenplay. I hope that The Big Sick wins it, but I'd be happy if Get Out wins. Actually, I'd be happy if Lady Bird wins as well, Greta Gerwig.
In a year where you had vanilla derivative stuff like Mother.
Yeah. Cinematography, Blade Runner will probably win, and I hope it does.
It's a beautiful movie.
And unique, and yeah. You could argue without good cinematography, this movie would have been half as good.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
The Darkest Hours nominated, Dunkirk, Mudbound, and The Shape of Water. Shape of Water, I think, could win this. Mudbound is great, but I don't think it really shows off cinematography. Dunkirk absolutely shows off cinematography, so it would deserve it. Darkest Hour does not have excellent cinematography. I mean, it's a good movie, but I wouldn't say the cinematography is amazing.
Yeah.
Blade Runner, Dunkirk, Shape of Water, all amazing. I mean, talk about an embarrassment of riches. You know, it's like all three of those movies would be like deserving.
I mean, isn't Darkest Hour a lot of inside shots?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people talking in the dark.
Yeah. So it looks pretty and it's well shot, but I wouldn't put it on the category of Blade Runner or Dunkirk. I mean, Dunkirk, the cinematography is
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to someone who geeks out on cinematography. I was watching it again last night, and you can tell like he used natural light.
But Christopher Nolan is so known for his amazing cinematography.
He manages to shoot ships sinking and people who are trying to get out as a physical thing that is maybe to make it look like the side of a ship is turning in the water, and people in uniforms and helmets are trying to get out from underneath, and it's all real natural lighting. You can tell like it's not very natural looking lighting anyway. Whereas other directors would, they would light it in a particular way. Like all you got to do is watch Titanic and see what Hollywood lighting looks like. Whereas there's shots on the beaches where they're long shots where you can't light it. You can't light someone 100 yards away because the lights would be too close. They'd be captured. And so you can tell like he just plopped a camera down. He waited for all the footsteps to get washed away by the sea, so it'd just be this pristine beach.
Right.
And he waited for the sun to kind of be filtering through the clouds. Because the other thing is weather was a factor in the story of Dunkirk, and I think he wanted to make the weather accurate as well. It's just a really well shot movie. So Dunkirk deserves it for one direction, but Blade Runner also deserves it for another direction. Anyway. So yeah.
Like Dunkirk makes it look accurate and real and historic. Blade Runner presents you with this beautiful, fantastical future view,
and also has an element of reality too. Yeah. Like there's absolutely CGI in the cinematography of this movie, but there's also like actual shots of actual places. So I just wanted to kind of like review real quick past movies that have won, just because I think it's interesting to kind of, with some distance, see what won in the past. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, of course, Best Picture last year, Moonlight. And it was against...
Sorry, no, it's La La Land.
It was against La La Land, Arrival, Manchester by the Sea, Fences, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, Lion, and Hacksaw Ridge.
I was so happy that Moonlight won over La La Land.
Yeah,
so happy.
Yeah, me too. I figured La La Land would win, but I was really happy that I did not think Moonlight was going to win. I mean, I'm still actually really surprised that Moonlight won because it is so not Hollywood.
Yeah.
And not even of a subject matter that Hollywood or anyone would usually want to watch,
What's your favorite La La Land song to karaoke?
What's the big song? I mean, the big one.
City of
Lights. I thought it was okay. Have you rewatched it, by the way?
No.
I mean, I rewatched it.
Listen, but to be honest, to me it would have been a better movie for me. I'm being selfish if it wasn't a musical.
Yeah.
It just the two of them struggling in Hollywood. Show me them playing a little bit here or there.
I like the City of Lights songs. I liked when she sings for the audition. I thought that was
a touching moment.
That was I thought a nice song. I like it when they are doing the little tap dance and the what's this song where it's just like I wish it
felt like amateur hour for me.
It is sort of amateur hour because they're not.
It is,
but they're not. They're not Broadway singers, right? These are.
I mean, why am I watching amateur hour?
Yeah,
Don't
I get
make
it.
a musical
Look,
then.
I'm not gonna defend La La Land. I mean, it was a forgettable movie. I loved Moonlight, Arrival, and Manchester by the Sea, and Fences, and Hell or High Water.
Right.
Much better. Yeah.
Right.
Best Director, Damien Chazelle for La La Land. Best Actor, Casey Affleck, Emma Stone. So a lot of so Best Director and Emma Stone. Okay, so I want to go back to 2016. Do you remember who won the Oscar for Best
Birdman?
No, it was Spotlight.
Wait, is this the year of Birdman?
Birdman was
2015?
2015. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, Spotlight. Yes. I remember that.
And it was up against The Revenant, which
Spotlight is a great. I finally did watch Spotlight. It was great.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's Best Picture.
Not better than The Revenant. That's for freaking sure.
Or Room, or Brooklyn, or
Oh my gosh.
But it was up against Martian and Bridge of Spies.
Bridge
of Spies and Mad Max.
I liked. I was not expecting to like it as much because it had been hyped so much.
Which?
The one that won. Spotlight. Because it had been hyped
great
so
movie.
much.
Great
but
movie.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, great movie, but I wouldn't say it's Best Picture material.
The difference is The Revenant kind of changed my life.
Yeah, right.
I watched that movie and I felt so fragile.
Yeah.
I felt like, how did anyone survive?
Yeah.
How did my ancestors get here?
Yeah.
What is this?
Have you seen Room yet, by the way?
Yeah, it's hilarious. How's his sex life, Mark?
Best Director, Alejandro Inarritu for The Revenant. So The Revenant did get some love there.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio for Best Actor. So, Revenant did get some love. Brie Larson for Room. And then 2015, Birdman.
Birdman.
It was up against Whiplash.
Which was a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Birdman deserved it because, to me, Best Picture needs to be sort of a grand movie.
A little epic.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Birdman, but its weirdness was a little gratuitous for me. Just a little.
Well, the ending, I thought, I wish I hope this doesn't spoil. So,
spoiler alert.
When he shoots himself, I actually, in that moment in the theater, I was like, oh man, I hope it ends.
Yeah.
That is a perfect ending.
Right.
Because we don't know what happened.
Right.
It just ends.
Right.
But then they go on and on, and everything beyond that point, I was like, not only is this weird and surreal and pointless,
right, but you're ruining that perfect moment.
But you're ruining a perfect moment, and I'm not even clear if this is a real thing that's happening because you're showing me things to make it think it wasn't real. Anyway, it was up against Whiplash, Selma, which is amazing, A Grand Budapest Hotel, Boyhood, which you loved, Theory of Everything, American Sniper, and Imitation Game. Alejandro won for Birdman, so won both Best Picture and Director. Eddie Redmayne won Best Actor. Julianne Moore made for Still Alice. Great movie. Julianne Moore totally deserved that. I thought she was amazing in Still Alice. J.K. Simmons won for Whiplash.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. So what do we have to say about Oscars 2018, Berto?
I have a lot of catching up to do, first of all. Second, lots of interesting pushy buttons, like lots of difficult topics being tackled.
Yeah.
And I am wondering if in 2019, although it hasn't happened, in 2018, it hasn't happened yet, but I was sort of thinking, are we going to see movies coming out this year that sort of tackle Me Too type topics? You know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that'll happen. Or maybe by 2019.
I mean,
there's a delay.
The Shape of Water does.
Is Me Too-ish?
Yeah.
But it was not. It was obviously done way before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do other movies have Me Too moments? I don't know.
Yeah.
So Get Out doesn't. Darkest Hour doesn't. Lady Bird, I don't think does. Dunkirk does not. There's only like one woman in Dunkirk, I think.
Yeah.
Three Billboards doesn't really. Phantom Thread kind of does, actually, but not really. Yeah. Well, it'll take a while for that whole thing to kind of bubble up, right?
Yeah.
You know. So we'll see what happens.
It's
with
interesting. One of the more effective movies about workplace sexual harassment was Disclosure, but it's this movie that is mixed in with this whole VR thing, and it's a woman doing it to a guy. Do you remember that Disclosure with Michael Douglas?
No.
And what's her name from? Anyways, she was in the 80s, in every movie in the 80s.
Yeah.
What's the movie where Rob Lowe and her, and it's like they meet one night. She was with Patrick Swayze, the clay pottery movie.
Oh,
Ghost.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore, thank you. She's the bad girl in the Disclosure movie.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's based on a Michael Crichton novel.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that came out in like mid-90s or something.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it was like sort of a very interesting time, very early for a movie about workplace sexual harassment to come out. It just happened to be a woman harassing a guy.
Yeah, well, to my memory, I think that's what they did. You know, Hollywood's like, ooh, let's make a movie about sexual harassment, but let's switch the genders.
But it was that's how he wrote the book, and so I wonder if... Did I forget that was there a big workplace sexual harassment stuff in the early 90s?
Oh my God, yeah.
Really? Clarence Thomas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, that's when it all began.
So maybe Michael Crichton wrote it as like, happens to guys too.
Yeah.
Which is fair, but
Yeah. I mean, it does. It happens,
yeah.
but it's a lot rarer.
I really liked the book. That was one of his books that I really enjoyed. There were aspects of the movie that I liked, but it also went a little wonky. Anywho.
Well, that does it for that long episode of Psychology in Seattle, in which we talked about many different Oscar movies and otherwise. Thanks for joining us out there. Please take care of yourself because
you deserve it.